TNT has come to the great Southwest in the Valley of the Sun, where tonight the Cardinals make their 1994 home debut, meeting NFC East rival, the New York Giants. The Cardinals and Giants, one of the NFL's ancient rivalries, one that started way back in 1926. Hi again, everybody. I'm Gary Bender. You know, there's a craze sweeping Arizona. It's called Buddy Ball, and its long-awaited debut is going to happen here tonight. The architect of Buddy Ball, Buddy Ryan, has predicted this will be a winning season for the Cardinals, that they will make the playoffs. That would be the first time since 1975 for this Cardinal franchise. Working with me is Pat Haden. And Pat, in visiting with Buddy, he says we're going to get to the playoffs because we're going to play great defense. Defense wins championships. He said we scare quarterbacks.
Well, you know, you get the feeling for Buddy Ryan that offense is just kind of a formality. He'd rather play defense on every single down because his defense do win games and they score points. It's just not a matter of setting the offense up, Gary. And what they want to do tonight is force more turnovers. But it's a hard defense to learn. If you look at Buddy Ryan's record over the years with different teams, in the first game, you see 2 turnovers, 1, 1, and 2. Those who in these years are the Bears, the Eagles, the Oilers, and the Cardinals. You see what happens in game 2. It's always been a breakout game, so that's what they're hoping tonight. They get those 4 or 5 turnovers and turn one of those into a score.
Well, they needed a better game from Steve Beuerlein. The Cardinal quarterback admitted he did not play well, but in all fairness, he was under constant pressure. He was knocked down 15 times.
Well, he said, I was embarrassed about the way I played. I didn't play the kind of way we need to have me play to win football games. But if you look at his statistics from a week ago, they were not good. Less than 50%. You see the 2 interceptions, not very good on third downs, but receivers drop ball, including a potential winning touchdown pass was dropped. But tonight, I think you have a guy in Steve Beuerlein who is a streaky quarterback, Gary, a guy also that is really battling with his confidence a little bit. So I think the start of this football game is very important for Steve Beuerlein. If he can get started early, throw an early touchdown pass, he can stay hot.
On the other hand, Giants quarterback Dave Brown was very impressive in his first career start, leading the Giants to victory over Philadelphia. Now, he showed uncommon poise, but he told us, I've aged 30 years.
That makes Phil Simms about 790 years old if he aged 30 years. But, you know, becoming a quarterback in the National Football League is a process. It's not just one game. And he passed the test last week, but he has a new test this week. He's going to face a lot of blitz. He's very aware of that, a lot of pressure. But with that comes great opportunities, Gary. And if he can read the blitz, he can call maximum protection. He has some great opportunities for big plays down the field to his wide receivers. If he doesn't recognize it, you could see some sacks and turnovers.
Well, Pat, the difference maker for the Giants last week was Dave Meggett. He can just change the course of a game.
Well, you know, his teammates call him the heart stopper, and for very good reason. One of the things I love about football is a game for people of all sizes. You know, you have 300-pound offensive linemen, you have 6'5" quarterbacks, and then you have a group of strong and steady running backs, and Dave Meggett is one of those guys. You saw what he did last week. Really a sensational effort, particularly on special teams, but a very good third down player as well. Now, the Cardinals tonight have a plan for Dave Meggett. They want to make it a very physical game for Dave Meggett. So on third downs, they're going to blitz linebackers, so he has to stay in and block those linebackers. On punt situations, they're going to attack him. They want to wear Dave Meggett down so he won't do to them what he did to the Eagles last week.
Dan Reeves, in his second year as head coach of the Giants, a 50-year-old, took the Giants to 11 regular season wins. That's the most ever for a Giants first-year coach. The NFL Coach of the Year and a 5-win improvement. And this is Buddy Ryan, confident, often outrageous. He's promised an immediate winner. He takes over a long-suffering franchise. A master at stirring things up. He's excited, Arizona, with Buddy Ball. Well, something that goes along with Arizona this time of the year is hot weather. The high was 99. It's down to 98, and we've been told we could have quite a storm coming out of the southeast. The Cardinals have won the toss. They will receive. Patrick Robinson will go back, and Brad DeLuiso will be kicking off for the Giants. The Giants the last 2 years have not scored a touchdown here in Sun Devil Stadium. DeLuiso, who tried to become the full-time kicker, then now just the kickoff man as they re-sign David Treadwell, ready to go. 2 NFC East rivals. He got into this one, and Patrick Robinson will have no chance. And so they'll be starting from the 20-yard line. And Steve Beuerlein, we talked about the disappointment he had last week, but he is the first quarterback to start for the Cardinals 2 consecutive seasons since they moved to Arizona. Last year, in his first full season as starter, he had career highs in almost every category. As you look at those numbers, outstanding leader, exudes all types of confidence, accurate passer, stronger arm than you might think. Now we have a personal foul.
Leaving team, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Jerry Markbright, who is our referee, indicating a personal foul against Arizona.
You know, at first they kick the ball into the end zone. You think you get it on the 20, which these days, this year, is a bad deal. Then you have a penalty, and you're backed up onto the 10-yard line.
Well, that's Randy Kirk, who does the snapping on their special teams, guilty of that infraction. So now they start from the 10. Beuerlein on first down to throw. Pressure in his face. Flushed out. He's almost tackled for a safety. Intercepted by Philippi Sparks. And that's not what Beuerlein wanted to do, is come out on the first play and throw an interception.
Just an awful start for Steve Beuerlein in the Cardinals. We said he's a quarterback struggling with his confidence. First the penalty and the kickoff. This is a ball when you're throwing away, you have to throw it 15 yards into the stands. You don't mess around with this one. He gets flushed in the pocket. First you thought he was going to get the sack. He was trying to squeeze it in there to Hill, but he should have thrown that one up into the stands.
And Philippi Sparks, who grew up in the Phoenix area, went to Maryvale High School, so excited to return home. Nice way for him to come back to the Valley of the Sun. First down at the Cardinals 16. They'd make it. In motion, Rodney Hampton straight ahead, and Hampton inside the 15 and slam back. Lorenzo Lynch, the strong safety. Dave Brown, we talked about his impressive debut. There's the numbers from a week ago. He showed remarkable poise. And here is his offensive troops. Hampton, who just carried the ball a moment ago. Kenyon Rashid has replaced Jared Bunch, who was cut. Up front, a veteran offensive line. They've had to make some changes. Lost 3 guys to free agency, but they've just continued on adding guys like Lance Smith. 2nd and 7. To Rashid, the fullback, to the 5. He's got a 1st and goal at the 4. Terry Hogue over to make the stop as Brown rolling out, buying time, and hit Rashid with a 1st down. Let's look now at Buddy Ball defense. Let's look at this defensive core. Swan, they think, is a young Reggie White. Clyde Simmons, of course, a Pro Bowler in Philadelphia. Joined by his former teammates, Seth Joyner. Eric Hill, they feel, is the new Mike Singletary. The 2 Williamses are very good cornerbacks. 1st and goal just inside the 5. Callaway in motion. Handoff Hampton. And he's cut down by Michael Bankston. Also Eric Hill, but Bankston, 63, was the first guy to lead the charge, and Hampton picked up very little on the play. 2nd and goal.
Yeah, George Henshaw, the offensive coordinator, the Giants, said, hey, for us to win today, Rodney Hampton is going to have a good day. Now, against this Cardinal defense, that doesn't mean, Gary, 150 yards. It's awfully hard to run against this defense, and you're going to have some negative runs, but they're going to keep using Rodney Hampton, and sooner or later, he's going to break one.
Rashid and Hampton in the backfield. To Hampton, diving for the goal line. He's apparently just short. You mentioned Hampton. Last year, he averaged only 46 yards a game against this Cardinal defense.
Okay, the Giants are one of the best off-tackle teams in the National Football League. They love to run off-tackle. When you have guys like Johnny Jumbo Elliott on your left side, you like to do that. Riesenberg on the right side, too. You will see the Giants run off-tackle a lot tonight.
3rd and goal inside the 1. Aaron Pierce, the H back in motion, a flag on the play. Brown rolling, being chased, gets away, throws in the end zone. The back of it, Harold Cross makes the touchdown catch, but let's see what the flag is all about. Again, Dave Brown at 6'5", showing some mobility.
Offside, number 55. Defense lined up in the neutral zone. Penalty declined. Touchdown.
Touchdown from Brown to Cross. Cross, always known for his blocking, but has become a very capable receiver.
Yeah, well, he caught, what, 21 passes last year, Gary. 5 of those were for touchdowns.
Point after attempt now. David Treadwell will kick out of the hold of Arthur Marshall, and Beuerlein waiting a chance to redeem himself. Treadwell's kick is up. It's no good. Looked like they had a little trouble with the placement.
They did. They did. Go back and look at the touchdown. When you run the ball off tackle like the Giants do, you're going to see some play action here. Here's the tight end cross. He gets lost here, goes back to the end zone. But when you can run the ball off tackle, you can have plays off the off tackle fake that lead to touchdowns. So the Giants convert a first turnover into 7 points, 6 points.
6. Giants 6-0, but they missed the PAT.
Yeah, it was a low snap for Arthur Marshall, the holder. Now, this is his first time as a regular holder. He's always been kind of a backup holder. Low snap, has trouble getting it up, didn't really get the laces turned, and the kicker pushed it right. So it's a 6-0 ball game.
So Treadwell missed the PAT. Deluiso kicking off again, and again there'll be no return. And so Beuerlein, who threw the interception on the first snap of the ball game, will come out to start this drive from the 20-yard line. You talked about lack of confidence. He's got to really be wondering right now.
Yeah, we said at the very beginning that the start of this game was very important for Steve Beuerlein because he is a streaky quarterback. When he's on, he can really be good. But when he's battling with his confidence right now, he can throw the ball like that and cause turnovers.
Beuerlein last week suffered 2 interceptions. Comes a blitz. They pick it up and hand off to Ronald Moore. Corey Widmer, who last week became the starting middle linebacker, made that stop. Well, let's set offensively. This Cardinal team, which last week struggled at times. Moore did average 5 yards a carry. Larry Centers led Arizona in receiving a year ago. They think Prohl and Hill are very strong wideouts. Sharp is a veteran. They have 4 of their 5 starters with 3 years or less experience up front. Second down, 9. Derek Ware in motion, pitch to Ronald Moore, trying to swing wide, and he's on his feet across the 30, and he has a first down at the 35. Last year as a rookie, he won over 1,000 yards, and that's a 13-yard romp, and that should give the Cardinals some confidence.
Now, Ron Moore gets most of his yards on strength and second effort. He's not a finesse kind of runner. He's generally not an outside runner. He's going to follow a lead block by Larry Centers, number 37, on a defensive back there. And then he just cuts inside that. Then it's the strength. Put a little move there on Michael Brooks, and it picks up the first down.
Line of scrimmage, Arizona's 34. And the movement coming from Rick Cunningham, who last year played very well, especially down the stretch. He was a guy who came over from the World League.
Ball starts, number 64, offense. No snap, 5-yard penalty, first down.
The Giants went to a new base 4-3 defense because this is the first time since 1981 they have not had Lawrence Taylor in the lineup. And so the linebacking core looks somewhat different. Brooks started the season a middle linebacker, now moved outside. A young secondary. Jesse Campbell got his first starting call last week. Moore across the 30 to the 31-yard line.
You know, Gary, as you watch these Cardinals on offense, this is not a dynamic offensive team. This is not, a Dallas Cowboys kind of offense. They're dependent upon their defense turning the ball over. But so far this game, what's happened, the difference so far is their offense has turned the ball over, and that led to the only touchdown.
Dave Atkins, the offensive coordinator, 4 plays thus far. They have had 3 rushes and 1 interception. Moore carrying all 3 times. Second down, 13. Beuerlein trying his second pass after the interception on target this time. The catch is made across the 40. Randall Hill coming up with a grab. Thrill Hill, that's an 11-yard gain. They're still short of the first down. They needed 13 yards on the play.
Yes, when Steve Beuerlein is effective as a quarterback, it's throwing those underneath routes, those 8 to 15-yard crossing routes, curl routes, and he gets a couple of those under his belt. I mean, he gets into a flow, he gets into a rhythm.
Third down, and still 2 yards to go. Beuerlein on the gun. Misdirection. Completes the pass. It's complete to Patrick Robinson. And Robinson, who usually is their return man, now being used. That time in motion. He's getting up slowly, but he did get the first down as he's out to the 48-yard line.
Yeah, and that was an important first down for the Cardinals. I mean, there's a lot of things going on there in that play, and I think it was actually the block of Randall Hill that really allowed them to pick up the first to fake the centers, and then just a little pass out there to Patrick Robinson, but it was Hill, number 81, who kind of screens a man off to allow him to get the first down. But that's the kind of play that Steve Beuerlein needed, just another chance.
Little wrinkle they didn't show last week. Beuerlein, the play action. Batted down. That ball was going to be completed, and it was batted down by Michael Brooks. Brooks, who is the best defensive player for this Giants team. He's the emotional leader, and as we mentioned, made a big change moving from middle linebacker to outside linebacker last week against the Eagles. Coming over from Denver, as many Broncos have, joining Dan Reeves and the Giants.
Michael Brooks is right here. Now, he's ordinarily a great run stuffer. He's a chaser. In pass defense, that's not as necessarily his strong suit, but just playing a zone there, read the quarterback's eyes, made a nice play.
Derek Ware was the intended receiver. Ronald Moore on a sweep, and the sweep didn't materialize. Good reaction by Jesse Campbell. Campbell, we mentioned, got his first start last week. He had 7 tackles in that ball game. Pat, they have 2 safeties who will really support on the run.
Yeah, he and Jarvis Williams, and you know, this is the first time we get a chance to see the Giants without Lawrence Taylor and without Phil Simms. I mean, 2 guys who defined the Giants for so long. But as you watch this Giant defense, this is a defense that no great superstars anymore, but they play very well together. And if you're going to beat them, you're going to earn it, because they're not going to give you much.
Third down and 11. Beuerlein with good protection. The catch, and Hill has the first down to the 42. He had to climb up to get that one. A 17-yard completion, and Randall Hill, who dropped 3 passes last week, looks very sharp in this first quarter of play.
Yeah, if they can get Randall Hill hanging on to the football, he's at the top of the screen, number 81. You can get something going in the passing game, because his catching some hook routes, he's caught 2 of them now, Gary, set up that hook and go or a deep route later on, and that's where Randall Hill can be dangerous on the long ball.
That's right. He can stretch a defense with that speed. First down. And off to Moore. Moore coming outside, takes on the tackler Sparks and falls forward to the 31-yard line. Felipe Sparks one-on-one with Moore, and Moore's a load at 220 pounds.
Yeah, but Felipe Sparks and Jarvis Williams, Jesse Campbell, Corey Raymond, all these defensive backs are good tacklers. The first thing you do defensively is you make them bounce outside. Jarvis Williams bounces him outside, and then Felipe Sparks forces him inside, then still makes a tackle. It was no opportunity for a big play there because of Felipe Sparks.
This is the 10th play of this drive. Second down and 5. First down catch inside the 25, and his feet pounded there. Michael Brooks came over and nailed him, but Moore hangs on, and the Cardinals continue to move the football.
Say, Michael Brooks hits you enough, you turn soprano, and you know that. I mean, he will hit you. And the thing, we've seen him twice now on pass coverage. One time he knocked the pass down. This time he's out in the flat on a back on Ronald Moore. And those are the kind of plays he makes. He's a chaser. He gets up some momentum and some speed, and he causes fumbles. He causes turnovers because of that.
A ball control offense that Buddy Ryan likes. First down inside the 25. Moore again, and Moore to the it'll still be 6 yards short of the first down, a gain of 4. That was Eric Howard's 74 making the stop. Eric Howard feels like he has a new lease on life. After playing nose tackle for 8 years, he's now in that 4-man front, and he couldn't be happier about it.
He loves that one-on-one. But, you know, you have to have a plan for Michael Brooks. Now, we talked about him running plays down from behind, and when you run away from him, you make sure you cut his legs out from underneath him so he can't make the play, and that's what Louise Sharp did right there.
Second down, make it 7. Throw in motion, Beuerlein, and it's intercepted, or almost was. That was so close. Jesse Campbell for a stride had almost the second INT of this game for the Giants.
When you throw the ball out in the flat, Gary, you cannot throw it off your back foot. You have to throw it with some velocity. And it was just lucky it was not a touchdown there for the Giants. Take a look at it again. There's Prohl, number 87, screening out for the tight end Ware. And there's Campbell, the free safety, who makes it, should have caught it and would have scored. So he's off the back foot there. You have to get more velocity, and you have to throw it out in front of the receiver to avoid the interception.
3rd and 7, and the Cardinals are 2 of 2 on 3rd down conversions on this drive. And they're going to complete it again as the first down catch to the 11-yard line. And Randall Hill now has been the go-to guy on this drive. Randall Hill, who they acquired from Miami for a first-round draft pick, and they're waiting for him to pay off.
Yeah, this is an important game, an important year for Randall Hill, because they have waited a long time for him. You know, he's got all the tools to be an outstanding receiver, but has never done it yet, Gary. He's always seemed to drop the ball, did it last week. But tonight, it's been a little different, Randall Hill. He's been hanging on to the ball. And again, he's setting up that the deep pass.
He's 3 for 37 receiving. First down. Movement up front by the Giants. A flag on the play. Moore bends it against the grain. Takes it inside the 10, maybe to the 9-yard line.
You know, a really good cadence there by Steve Beuerlein. You heard him draw off the Giants. But, Gary, you can only get so many of those a game. You try to save those for pass plays so that if you get a free play, you throw the ball in the end zone. I mean, I wouldn't use that. As you see right there, 54 is Bailey. He drew the Giants offside, but you had a free play there. You want to pass on a free play, and you want to throw it into the end zone on a free play.
Dan Reeves, who has given this team such discipline.
He always looks like his insurance just lapsed, you know.
Either that or he missed a putt somewhere. Beuerlein 5 of 7 for 51 yards in this drive. It's 1st and 5. They get a 1st and goal at the half-yard line. It very difficult up the middle. Maybe 2 yards inside the 5 to the 4.
You know, down here the Giants really get tough, Gary. The Eagles had 10 plays inside the 10-yard line a week ago and came away with just 10 points down here. And this is a big, physical defensive linemen that are tough to move off the ball. There's Mike Nolan, defensive coordinator. It is really hard to run down here against the Giants. I think if you're going to get the ball in, you're going to have to throw it.
Well, I tell you, this Giants defense has been on the field for a long time. Corey Widner going out with a sprained ankle. They're going to look him over. The heat could really be a factor today, and the Giants playing a lot of defense. Beuerlein, 15th play of the drive. He's hit hard as he gets rid of the ball, and Carlton Bailey really smacked into him at the 10-yard line.
You know, he was waiting for Randall Hill to come open, but there was some terrific coverage on Randall Hill. You talk about plastering a receiver. Now there's Carlton Bailey in for the Corey Widmer, who just went off with an injury. Again, playing zone down here inside the 5, trying to force the throw, and gives Beuerlein a shot. But the defensive back just plastered Randall Hill. Nowhere to throw that ball.
This drive now has gone for 9 minutes and 20 seconds. It's come to a 3rd down. 3rd and 3. Moore. And Moore's not going to get the 1st and goal. It's going to be 4th down.
They're so tough to run on inside the 5-yard line, Gary. I mean, in the NFC East, you have to control the line of scrimmage or you have no chance. And those giant defensive linemen last week and this week have controlled the line of scrimmage.
Michael Brooks was in the midst of all of that, so it's still 3 yards to go. 4th down coming up. Greg Davis, who last week was 2 of 2, hitting 34 and 37-yard field goals. This will be a 21-yard attempt. Out of the hole to Beuerlein. Randy Kirk to snap. Greg Davis, coming off of his finest season from a year ago, was 21 of 28. He gets this one, and the Cardinals close within 3. The Giants lead it 6-3. 1:48 left in the first quarter.
No, that helmet is not permanently attached to Jay Schrader's ear. He is actually listening to the play as it's being sent in to Steve Beuerlein. He's got one of those fancy helmets and listens to the play being sent in.
Just picked up this week after being waived by Cincinnati. The kickoff is taken by Thomas Lewis, their #1 draft pick out of Indiana. Out to the 35. A flag on the play as he goes to the 45 of Arizona. 2 flags back at the 25 as Lewis showing that remarkable speed. It's going to come back as Jerry marked right with a preliminary call against New York. That was a 48-yard kickoff return. Lewis, taken in the first round, is a guy they want to bring along slowly, but you can see with that little burst why they're so excited about him.
Yeah, and the Giants think they have a chance tonight.
Number 62 on the return. 10-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
Yeah, the Giants think they have a big chance tonight on their left return, Gary, but for the penalty, they had a big left return.
The Giants scored a touchdown, missed the PAT, and now the Cardinals have climbed within 3 on a 21-yard field goal by Greg Davis as they try to keep everyone cool. It is warm. It'll be a big factor. I thought that Dan Reeves said it very well. He says you can't overcome the heat, but just try to handle it better than your opponent.
And you substitute a lot and early.
First down after the penalty at the 14. Chris Callaway in motion. Brown to Hampton. Hampton trying to get wide. And again, the Cardinals are there. And Hampton's had a tough time running on the Cardinals. Last year, his high game, 78 yards. He's carried the ball 4 times tonight for a net of 6 yards.
Well, this Cardinal defense is a difficult defense to run against. Number one, because they commit a lot of guys close to the line of scrimmage. And secondly, they're mostly big bodies. And there's a lot of movement there. It's very, very hard to get any kind of rhythm running the football.
Eric Hill coming off, and he is the guy who calls the defensive signals. Garth Jacks replaces him. 2nd and 10. Brown, quick release. Aaron Pierce makes the catch, and Brown is buried after he threw the football. A completion out to the 20, and Garth Jacks, who just checked in, made the stop.
Again, this is a test for Dave Brown, just like last week was. I mean, they're going to bring people. You're going to see linebackers come. All these guys coming in on Dave Brown. He caught it. He saw the audible. He called the audible, and then the quick pass. I mean, he's going to be facing those kind of plays all night.
Brown is 3 of 3 now for 16 yards and a touchdown. 3rd and 4. Brown, look out. He's hit from behind. The ball has come loose at the 10-yard line. The Cardinals have it.
Boy, now this is what Buddy Ryan wants out of his defense. Seth Joyner coming off the corner, I think was the first guy to get there.
And so Brown, who last week was able to hang tough in the pocket, but he has never faced this 46 defense in Buddy ball.
This is what they want, not only the sacks, but they want the turnovers. It was Joyner from one side, Wilbur Marshall from the other, and they just blew through some blocks. They didn't come cleanly. I mean, there were blockers there. Watch both outsides. 55 is Marshall, 59 is Joyner. He just beats the tight end, Howard Cross, and then separates the ball from Brown. Not satisfied with the sack, they try to separate the ball from the quarterback.
That was Bankston also arriving. 1st and goal at the 10. Beuerlein, and a handoff to Larry Centers almost like a Statue of Liberty play. He reared up as though he was going to throw a slant. Gives it to Larry Centers, and Centers pounds to the 1-yard line. And that's where we'll start the second quarter. After 1 quarter of play from Tempe, Arizona, the Giants lead it 6-3.
Let's go back to that run there by Larry Centers. First of all, I want you to watch the middle linebacker right here, Beuerlein, who gets faked out by the play-action fake, and then the lead block right here by Fred McAfee on Michael Brooks. First, the play-action fake, the middle linebacker goes to try to cover the tight end, and then the lead block on the other linebacker leads for a huge hole there for Centers to bring the ball down to the 1-yard line.
And so, as we start the second quarter, the Cardinals now at the 2. Second and goal there after the fumble recovery, trying to capitalize on it. Fred McAfee in the backfield. There's McAfee. Touchdown, Arizona.
But for one bad offensive play, the Cardinals' first offensive play when they threw an interception, their offensive line has come off and really done a job here. On that particular play, on a short yardage play, they opened up a nice hole for Fred McAfee to get into the end zone.
Greg Davis, point after attempt. 9-6 Arizona. Davis with a PAT, and it's good. And the Cardinals now, after trailing early in this ball game, 6-0, lead at 10-6 as we've just begun the second quarter.
We say with a short field, they want to create turnovers, create a short field for their offense. They did it that time, led to the touchdown, and the Cardinals are up by 4.
Arizona seeking their first win, leading at 10-6.
So Joe DiCamillius, the special teams coach for the Giants, feels the Giants have a big chance on the left return, taking the ball up the left sideline.
They have Lewis along with Dave Meggett back deep. Greg Davis. And it'll be Lewis again, 2 yards deep. 20, and was airborne to the 24, and that was an outstanding tackle by Terry Irving, 56, a rookie out of McNeese State, who sometime Buddy feels will be in the Pro Bowl. The Giants get the football for the 3rd time, and they'll start this drive for the 24-yard line. Arizona, after starting the game with an interception that the Giants turned into a touchdown, has rebounded and lead 10-6. A team that has been very tough on the Giants here in the Valley of the Sun. And Beuerlein, who had to be wondering about himself after throwing that interception, really has come back strong. Be sure and join us next Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. The NFL on TNT will be in the Georgia Dome. Joe Montana, what a huge win today for the Chiefs over San Francisco. They'll square off against Atlanta. New head coach June Jones. The Silver Bullet Stadium show starts at 7:30. The NFL on TNT. First down. Play action by Brown, and the catch is made. A remarkable catch by Chris Calloway. He went up for that with James Williams draped all over him. A 13-yard gain on the play.
You know, Dave Brown, if you think about Giant quarterbacks over the years, there's been a real emphasis on protecting the football. You know, you think about Phil Simms and Jeff Hostetler when he played, and a lot of it has to do with the weather in New York, but if he can protect the football tonight, and he had the one turnover that led to a touchdown, their offense, they feel, can win this football game, but you can't turn the ball over against this Cardinal defense.
Brown is 4 of 4 passing. And off to Hampton. Straight ahead, and he's to the 48. That's another first down. Clyde Simmons eventually caught up with him. Rodney Hampton, 3 straight years, has had 1,000-yard rushing seasons for the Giants, the first in Giants history, and a guy yet that really did not have any success against the Cardinals a year ago.
But you run against these Giants, I mean these Cardinal defense, there's going to be a lot of darkness, there's going to be no holes, and all of a sudden you catch a blitz and there's going to be a hole like that. So it's no gain, and then 10 yards.
Here's Hampton again. He'll just gets stronger as the game wears on. He's such a workhorse. Moving the ball just short of the 45-yard line. Eric Hill, by the way, back into the football game after hobbling off a while ago, made the stop from the middle linebacking spot.
And George Henshaw was saying about Rodney Hampton today, this is a guy that can carry the ball 25, 30 times a game. We're not afraid to use him. He said, on the other hand, Dave Meggett is a guy we have to pick our spots with. We can't wear him out.
2nd and 4 for the Giants. Hampton, change of direction. Michael Bankston wrestles him down. Bankston, in the estimation of Seth Joyner, is one of the best kept secrets in football. Very, very intelligent. In fact, they were telling us this week that he helps coach Eric Swan, there's Swan, number 98, alongside him in the trenches. Bankston, a player out of Sam Houston State, who last year led the NFL with 5 fumble recoveries. A very astute player. 3rd down and 6. Brown looking there. Meggett can't hang on and tried to catch the rebound, but that wasn't there either. James Williams defending on the play.
It looks like Dave Brown just kind of held the ball a little bit too long there. Had Meggett earlier. Now, this is the 3rd down play. One way to get him out, to make sure he gets out against a blitz, is to put him in motion. See, he's waiting. The ball's too late. It's thrown too high, has no chance.
And Mike Horan will come in and punt the football for the first time. Another former Denver Bronco. He had 5 punts last week. He had 1 of them inside the 20. Patrick Robinson back deep for the Cardinals. Robinson drifting over, signaling for the fair catch, going to let it hit, and it kicks out of bounds just inside the 10-yard line. So Arizona will have the football. 38-yard punt, and the Cardinals enjoying now a 4-point lead. While we're away, Dave Meggett was being talked to on the sideline. Don't know if there's an injury there, but a little shaky. As you can see, they're still visiting with him, as after the punt, the Cardinals start just inside their own 10. Fred McAfee in the backfield. Play action fake by Beuerlein. Too long for Derek Ware. And the reason McAfee is in there is because Ron Moore suffered a concussion, will not return in this first half. Let's take a look at tonight's GMC truck leaderboard. After 2 games in the 1993 season, it's interesting to note that the Steelers and Cowboys were 0-2. Now, of course, Neil O'Donnell was hurt. Emmett Smith wasn't in the lineup, but they went on. Look at the Browns, Dolphins, Eagles, and Saints. They did not get into the postseason. So what's happened after 2 games in 94? I guess what we're trying to tell you, being 2-0 doesn't mean a whole lot.
Guarantees diddly, does it?
All of that for that, right?
Doesn't mean nothing.
Anybody that's 2-0, don't relax. 2nd down 10. Beuerlein. McAfee makes the catch, and the former New Orleans Saint is knocked down, and Michael Brooks is there again. He seems to be everywhere in this first half of play. It'll bring up now 3rd down and 6 yards to go. There's Moore. You can see the smelling salts. He's had a tough offseason. His mother passed away. He had a brother that also passed away. He was not playing very well in the preseason, but last week looked like the Moore of old. He averaged 5 yards a carry.
And they were trying to give him the ball 25, 30 times tonight themselves, much like Hampton. They like to use Hampton. The Cardinals like to use Ronald Moore.
3rd and 6. Beuerlein from the gun, going for all of it. Randall Hill is down here, and he catches it out of bounds. Good coverage that time by Thomas Randolph, a rookie out of Kansas State, their 2nd-round draft pick, who has very good speed.
Well, you know what's going to come. I mean, Hill caught 3 curl-in routes, remember? And now they come back with a deep pass. They set it up with a curl, and then they run deep. But Thomas Randolph, you can see a little push-off there. But Thomas Randolph really did it terrific. He was not fooled by the earlier hook routes. He was with him stride for stride.
Jeff Fiegel's now with his first punt of the ball game. Meggett is back deep for the Giants. Very fine punt. make it, backs up to the 35. And this time they hem him in. They know full well they can't allow him to be a difference maker again.
Oh, man. Sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield. That time he was the bug.
Brandy Kirk was the windshield.
Yeah.
51-yard punt, 5-yard return. We'll be back. Gary Bender, Pat Haden from the Valley of the Sun. They're expecting a crowd here to be announced in the vicinity of 65,000. And the Cardinals making their Buddy Bowl debut, if you will, trying to win their first game and with a 10-6 lead.
Well, we also talked about this tonight being the breakout night for the Cardinal defense, wanting to get 4 or 5 turnovers. They got one that led to a touchdown. But when you look at this Cardinal defense, Gary, I think the strength of this defense is in their corners, James Williams and Aeneas Williams. Those guys can play one-on-one anywhere.
From the 40, the Giants start. Dave Brown going up top. Chris Callaway, and he's bumped. Lorenzo Lynch collides with him. You know, did he make the catch anyway, or did it... as he fell backwards, Callaway was bumped. We were so intent on watching the bump. Callaway, who had a 51-yard touchdown catch last week.
You know, pretty good protection here, and they want to take some shots. The Giants think they can take some shots downfield. Now, he had him open for a while, but Lorenzo Lynch was playing strong safety. It was an easy call. It was an easy call, easy pass interference call. It starts with protection, maximum protection. Keeping the linemen in, keeping the backs in. Rodney Hampton there making a block. And give your wide receivers a chance. Either you make the catch or sometimes you get past interference calls. So that's a big offensive play.
That ends up being a 34-yard penalty. Sets it up at the 27. Hampton. Oh, he goes up and runs in to Lorenzo Lynch. Lynch, he'll take your head off. He was a quarterback a year ago, now playing safety. Here's tonight's Pennzoil scoreboard. Week number 2 in the NFL as we check some scores throughout the country for you. And tell you, the Patriots have been getting up a lot of points. They gave up 38 a week ago. And the Buccaneers getting on the winning side. Craig Erickson with a big game. The Jets and Lowry in overtime winning it. They won the toss and then won the game with a field goal. Rashid and Hampton to the backfield. 2nd and 9. Misdirection. Dave Brown rolling out. Dumps it ahead to Rashid. Rashid to the 5. Knocked out of bounds at the 3.
That's a real subtle play by Dave Brown, Gary. I mean, you talk about being patient. And sometimes young quarterbacks rush things. They see things quickly. They try to rush plays. Now, he's in his 3rd year, but he still is a young quarterback developing. But he takes his time. He forces Joyner, number 59, to make up his mind. Are you going to cover Rashid, or are you going to tackle me? And when Joyner came up, he dumps the ball to Rashid. That's a heck of a play.
Ends up being a 22-yard gain. 1st and goal at the 3. Hampton. Bankston's there again. Michael Bankston playing a very strong first half. Number 63 on the stop once again. Steelers going into Cleveland, and they haven't won there allowed. Only their 2nd win in 13 trips to Cleveland. Seahawks. The Seahawks are vastly improved.
How about the Raiders go 0-2?
Yeah, and the Vikings. Warren Moon had his first touchdown toss as a Minnesota Viking. And the Redskins. Norv Turner looks like he's got that offense rolling now. And the Dolphins have always been tough on the Packers, winning again today in Milwaukee. Second and goal for 3, and Dave Brown wants a timeout.
Yeah, that wasn't Dave Brown. The receivers weren't sure which one was supposed to be on the line and which one was supposed to be off the line.
So Dan Reeves will talk to Dave Brown, and this is his first start on the road. We'll be back. Cardinals leading 10-6 here as we check the rest of the scores in this 2nd week. Houston and Dallas, very physical game today. The Cowboys prevailing 20-17. Troy Aikman had over 220 yards in passing. Atlanta, June Jones has retooled that offense, and that was the big game of the day. The Chiefs behind Joe Montana winning. They go to 2-0. 2nd and goal now from the 3. motion, handoff to Hampton, diving, touchdown, New York.
Yeah, you know, when you're a good short yardage defensive team, as the Giants are, generally you're a pretty good short yardage offensive team. They just seem to go hand in hand. We talked about the Giants being a good defensive short yardage team, and here they just hammer it in. I mean, there was a lot of commotion going on the right side of that play with guys shifting in motion, and that was all subterfuge. They were going to barrel it over the left side.
Well, Kenyon Rashid threw a very big lead block for Hampton, who went airborne. Point after attempt now by David Treadwell. Giants with the lead at 12-10, and they advance it to 13-10. 4 plays, 60 yards.
You know, like I said, there was a lot going on there. There was motion. There were guys shifting. Chris Callaway came in motion on the play. See number 80. Again, that's just all fake. Rashid, number 44, on the lead block. Hampton gets airborne at about the 3. And I tell you, there's a 230-pound back that runs like a 190-pounder or 200-pounder. This guy is very, very light on his feet.
Well, they call him one of the quietest superstars in the NFL. Doesn't say a lot, just goes out and gets the job done. So the Giants again with the lead. Tuesday, a must-see premiere on TNT at 8 o'clock Eastern. 75 seasons, the story of the National Football League. This 2-hour special chronicles the great coaches, teams, and players of the NFL. And there's one of them, Vince Lombardi. Quite a feature, I understand, also on Joe Namath, as you see him in the background.
I'll have to get my homework done early so I can watch that.
Yeah, quit charging all those exorbitant fees and just watch television. Fred McAfee going back now. Again, McAfee's seen a lot of duty because Ron Moore had a concussion and not expected to return the remainder of this first half. DeLuiso, who's had 2 touchbacks, will kick off again. We've been told now that Moore has been cleared for the second half, but they're not sure whether that will happen or not. Here comes Fred McAfee. McAfee winding his way out to the 30 and takes a shot there. John Booty, who played last year for the Cardinals, met him there and drives him out of bounds. 33-yard kickoff return.
Al Roberts, the special teams coach of the Cardinals, felt, hey, we have a chance to have a big return because of all the separation. When he catches the ball, you see right there, you see here's all the Chargers. There's a good about 30 yards right there before any oncoming Giants have a chance to make a play. Because DeLuiso kicks a low, hard ball. They thought they had a chance. They thought they had a chance for a big special teams return.
And so, as an end result, the Cardinals start from the 31. Beuerlein, down he goes. Trying to keep him out was Rick Cunningham, but he couldn't keep the man they call Hammer out of there. Keith Hamilton, who they feel is showing flashes of how he could be so dominating in the NFL.
Keith Hamilton is not a finesse player. I mean, you don't hear classical music in the background when you watch Keith Hamilton play. I mean, he comes at you, keeps coming at you. He's number 75 right here in the middle of your screen. You know, beats Cunningham, just kind of tosses him away like a rag doll, throws him away, and then makes the sack on Beuerlein.
Second sack of the year for Hamilton. 2nd and 15. Double pumping, trying to set up a screen. Coming over to the near side is Larry Centers. Centers dives across the 35. He's still 5 yards short of the first down. Centers last year with 66 catches led this Cardinal team, but that was in a utility role. He's now the starting fullback. 10-yard gain on the play.
Tell you one thing, Eric Howard was hustling on that time for the Giants. There he is, number 74 now. He didn't make the play, Gary, but you know, when you get a guy hustling, he's down in here. He's right in here. You're going to see him, or this defensive lineman. You're going to see him rush the passer. It's a screen away from him, but there's no quitting him. Number 74 right in the middle of the screen now. He almost makes the play there, but when your defensive linemen are downfield hustling 30 yards downfield, you're going to have a chance to be a good defense.
3rd and 5 for Beuerlein. coming, reads it, gets it to center. Center's driving for the first down. He's got it. He's all the way to the midfield stripe. 13-yard gain. Larry Centers is such a good character guy, and he's earned the right to play every snap now offensively for this team. He's improved his blocking to go along with his pass receiving.
You know, last week we talked about Beuerlein getting knocked down 15 times, and that's Jesse Armstead, number 98, and number 39, Corey Raymond. Again, a knockdown. You don't mind it so much when you pick up the first down.
8 of 14 is Beuerlein now, 78 yards. He's suffered an interception. They call off the blitz. Here's McAfee. McAfee, nice spinning move. A flag on the play as he's dropped at the 47. McAfee is a rookie in the league, led the Saints in rushing in '91, but this is going to be a holding call against Arizona. There's that cantankerous, always confident, outrageous guy by the name of Buddy Ryan.
Yeah, well, you know, he absolutely tells you what he believes, and I think he believes it himself, unless he's put on a heck of a show.
I don't know how old he is.
Number 79, offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
His bio says he's 60, but somebody was telling me the other day he's 63. When you get up a few years, you know, you kind of chop a couple of those years off, right? I've taken off a few myself.
You look reasonably good for 72, Garrett.
Working with you, I've aged a lot. From the 40-yard line now. First down and 20.
They've been a good screen team tonight, the Cardinals have.
Beuerlein, the blitz coming, and he tried to get it to Centers. Coming up the middle, storming up the middle, was Corey Miller, number 57.
Yeah, Corey Miller is a good blitzer. You know, what makes a good blitzer? Corey Miller's a good blitzer because he times it right. You know, gets off on the snap and timed it right.
This is the guy that really came on last year. He wore down a little bit.
Here's the hot receiver. When you get the blitzes, you got to find the receiver that's going to be open. Now, a guy's going to be wide open, and that's the back. But the defense figures, hey, you're just not going to have time to get the ball to him to take advantage of it.
And that's exactly what happened there. 2nd and 20. Miller out of the game. Trying to alternate a lot of people in this heat. Beuerlein, protection is excellent. Catch is made by Ricky Prohl, and Prohl fights his way short of the 50. There is a penalty flag, though, near where Beuerlein was decked. Prohl, who dropped a big pass last week against the Rams, hanging on to that one. Going to go against Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona can't be in 2nd and long and 3rd and long and win this game. This is not, you know, a dynamic offensive team. It's a team that's going to take advantage of the field position that their defense will get.
Illegal hands to the face. Number 64, offense. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's Rick Cunningham. He has his work cut out for him tonight. He is really battling. There he is, 4th-year man out of Texas A&M.
But I'll tell you one thing about the Cardinal offensive line tonight, Gary. I mean, they played a lot better in this first half than they did last week against the Rams.
I saw Beuerlein early in the week. He said, I went to get a massage, and when they put me on the table, they said my entire back was black and blue from those 15 knockdowns of a week ago. That was the 5th penalty of the game against the Cardinals. Beuerlein, and coming back to the ball is Brian Reeves, the rookie, and he got it. Reeves playing because Gary Clark was out. Clark having problems again with the groin. They didn't want to have any further damage. They thought they'd have him back at full strength, and Reeves comes back, his first career catch.
Hey, one thing about Steve Beuerlein, though, he is a courageous guy. He will hang and hang and hang in that pocket. Sometimes he'll hold it too long, but he is not afraid to take a shot. Strahan gets him there. A big rush, couldn't step up, couldn't deliver the ball with a lot of velocity. That's why it was kind of fluttering at the end, and a nice adjustment by Reeves.
A rookie free agent out of Nevada, Reno. 3rd down now, still 15, flag on the play. Beuerlein on target to Reeves again, and Reeves, who had 91 catches last year, comes up with another grab. This one just short of the 45, but let's see what the penalty's about this time. They like Reeves. Very smooth, very fluid wide receiver. It's against the Giants.
Well, you know what they say about Reeves? They said, you know, he came into camp as a free agent, Brian Reeves, and he kept running past all the Cardinal defensive backs. And they said, hey, that's a pretty good reason to keep him. I mean, if you're a wide receiver, you want a guy who runs past defensive backs.
Cardinals have picked up a couple of very solid free agents. This is one of them. Another guy they're very excited about is going to see some action through the course of the game, and that is Alexander, Brent Alexander, a safety.
Offside, number 74, defense, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Eric Howard, guilty one, as we at halftime will be joining Bob Neal, Kevin Kiley, and Lawrence Taylor on the Fruit of the Loom halftime report. We're looking at the highlights. At LT, of course, watching this game with some interest, I would think.
Absolutely. There's a guy that played the position incredibly spectacularly. I mean, you talk about, he played his position as well as Joe Montana played quarterback.
The penalty makes it 3rd and 10 now for Arizona. Being flushed out is Beuerlein. He threw it away, and he has buried Michael Strahan. Second-year man out of Texas Southern chased him down, and Beuerlein goes down again. And again, even though he's getting better protection, he still has taken a lot of shots in this first half.
Yeah, he is. But I'll tell you, when you get some help from Larry Centers, you're going to see Larry Centers block Bratsky, number 77. I mean, that's a guy, Larry Centers, who's a receiver too. When you block defensive linemen, you catch the screen passes like Larry Centers does, you run the football, you're an all-around good football player.
Jeff Peagles, his second punt. He's very good at placing the ball. He had 3 inside the 20 last week. Fair catch is called by Dave Meggett, and the Giants will have it at the 16-yard line. 4:35 left now in this first half. The Giants with a 13-10 lead as Dave Brown comes on again.
And again, the Giants have 2 timeouts remaining with 4:35 in the second quarter. And again, what they don't want Dave Brown to do, or to feel like he has to do, is to win this game by himself. So many young quarterbacks try to force it. Brown has not done that tonight. He didn't do it in his first game. And if he can use the people around him, use Rodney Hampton, Sherrard, and Callaway, this is an efficient offensive team.
To Hampton, and Hampton testing the right side, gets to the 21-yard line, and a lot of bodies there. You go back to Dave Brown, and talking to Dan Reeves about him, he says there's a couple of things that always bother young quarterbacks. One is a grasp of the language. In other words, calling the play efficiently, and secondly, he says, see things quickly. Brown seems to do very well with both of those areas.
You know, well, Reeves said about him, you know, he never seems to be surprised after the ball is snapped. And then that's saying something for a young player.
2nd and 7. Hampton. Seth Joyner was there first, but Eric Hill eventually made the stop. It'll come to a 3rd down and still 4.
Okay, here's one of those defining moments, I think, in this game and for Dave Brown. It's a passing situation. You feel like the Cardinals are going to come after you. You can't force the ball or fumble the ball. Take the sack, that's okay. Throw the ball away, that's okay. And maybe you run a little screen pass, but don't turn it over.
Last second change. Meggett comes out of the ball game. 3rd down and 4. And off to Hampton. Hampton is not going to get the first down. He needed to get to the 26, instead the 24, and there's Eric Swan. Eric Swan, he just makes Buddy Ryan salivate. Every time he talks about him, he talks about what athleticism he has.
Yeah, and he makes quarterbacks sweat. He makes Buddy salivate and makes quarterbacks sweat because he is big and he is explosive. Not Buddy. I was talking about Eric. Now,
well, he's big, but he's not explosive.
He's not going to make the swimsuit cover. Buddy won't.
Not of any magazine I've seen lately. Horan now to punt from the 10-yard line. And this is not a very good punt. Very wobbly. And it's going to go out of bounds. We'll see if they're going to mark it at the Cardinal 42-yard line. 33-yard punt that time by Mike Horan. Well, we're going to have, I think,
as good as that game was today, the Chiefs and the 49ers, you're going to have a pretty good Super Bowl. And you notice who the Chiefs went to at the end of the game, though? It was Marcus Allen, just as the Cowboys at the end of the day today went to Emmitt Smith.
Super Bowl is going to be here January 28, 1996. First down now for the Cardinals. Beuerlein buying some time, and Randall Hill comes back to make the catch. Randall Hill looked over his shoulder to see if the defender was coming up on him, then relocated the ball and made the first down grab of 15 yards.
And sometimes Steve Beuerlein holds the ball too long, but that time he had enough protection to do it. I mean, looked to his right, looked to his left, and then found Randall Hill, who really tonight, Gary, is played as well as I have ever seen him play.
I agree. So we have the 2-minute warning. The Cardinals have all 3 of their timeouts when we come back. So Beuerlein with a 2-minute warning going over to Dave Atkins. A lot of experience behind Beuerlein. See Jim McMahon standing in the background. Jay Schrader off to the right, as our artist there points out. All 3 of those guys have Super Bowl rings.
Yeah, McMahon was the only one to start a Super Bowl, but you see the experience the Cardinals have at quarterback, and you see what the Giants have. Remember, only 7 NFL quarterbacks started all 16 games a year ago. And as this year wears on, those 2 guys are going to be important for the Cardinals.
Cardinals down by 3, have all 3 timeouts remaining. First down at the 43 of New York. The late handoff to McAfee. Fumbled the ball. Beuerlein got on it. That's going backwards. Now they need to get to about the 38-yard line to be within field goal range for Greg Davis. And obviously those opportunities are dwindling a little bit as they're back to the midfield stripe.
It was Michael Strahan, really the defensive lineman for the Giants, number 92, right there in the middle of your screen, that really forced the fumble, the negative play. Just got his hands there, and you see more and more of this. Defensive players not satisfied with just stopping a guy, not just satisfied with a sack, but stripping the ball carrier.
Punched it out of there. Now it's 2nd down 17 for Arizona. Eric Ware, the tight end, comes in motion. Time for Beuerlein, and it's almost intercepted. Felipe Sparks defending on Ricky Proehl, and Sparks, who had a pick early in the ball game, almost had another one.
One thing, what Beuerlein has done when he's thrown the ball outside, he's not using the sideline particularly well, Gary. You got to be able to use the sideline as your friend, throw the ball away from the defender so that if the receiver can't catch it, you're not going to throw the interception.
Boy, that was a long throw over there. 3rd down 17 now.
You need to get to about the 38-yard line to give Greg Davis a chance for a field goal.
You see the time remaining, 1:20. Got a lot of time, and then he's hit by Stacy Dillard, and I mean hit, as he has the ball go harmlessly incomplete. The crowd booing. They thought maybe Dillard got there late, but I don't think so.
Well, Beuerlein looked a little indecisive there. You'd hate to see him with a wine list. I mean, he had some time there. I mean, playing that prevent defense, had some time just trying to avoid the turnover. But if he dumps the ball short, maybe a guy has a chance to run for some yards.
Fiegels now trying to get this one inside the 20-yard line, but he got too much of it. And so the touchback will bring it out to the 20. A 50-yard punt by Jeff Fiegels. A wine list?
Well, you kind of scan that wine list. It takes a while to make up your mind.
Well, I look at the prices anyway. From the 20-yard line is where they'll go with 1:03 left in this first half.
Well, you're a young quarterback in Dave Brown, and you're trying to establish yourself as the leader of this team, as a starter. I mean, Phil Simms played in New York for so well. He was so good in 2-minute drills. This is an opportunity for Dave Brown to distinguish himself. He can do it in a couple ways. Obviously, get him a score, but secondly, by not making the negative play, not turning the ball over.
2 timeouts left for the Giants. 1:03 left in the half. Rodney Hampton, a lot of congestion as he maybe gets a yard to the 21-yard line. And now the Giants going to ask for a timeout.
Terry, this is a good NFC East kind of game. It's a game of linemen, it's a game of defense, and it's a game I think it's going to be decided in the fourth quarter.
Correction, the timeout taken by Arizona. They're still thinking they're going to get the football.
Timeout.
So there's 54 seconds left as Buddy Ryan burns his first timeout. Line of scrimmage the 21, second down and 9.
Again, all Dan Reeves is thinking about right now, though, is making sure we don't turn the ball over. And sometimes that's a difficult way to play offense, Gary. I mean, I think it's, if you play too conservatively, you're going to lose in the NFL. So you got to know when to pick your spots and take your chances. Dave Brown did it well last week, rebounded from some adversity, and he's going to try to do it again tonight.
Michael Strahan writing an article this week. I thought it was interesting what he said about Dan Reeves. Says he exudes such confidence. He said when he talked to us, you believe he has the answers for everything. You feel that what he's telling you is the exact way to do something. So he's earned that right in this, his 14th season as a head coach.
Well, those teams they're always well coached, and they're not going to give you anything. If you beat a Dan Reeves coach team, you know, you have to earn them.
So both teams with 2 timeouts left. Second and 9. There's a bootleg by Brown. He's got a lot of running room. Out to the 40 and tackled there by Eric Swan. And you talk about a naked bootleg. He pulled that one off 21 yards and he calls a timeout.
Heck of a call and a heck of a play. I mean, Dave Brown, he's a big guy. He's 6'5". He's 225 pounds, but he's got a little get-along in him. I mean, the guy can move pretty well. I mean, you're handing the ball to Rodney Hampton all day. Everybody's expecting. The Cardinals thought they'd try to run out the clock. You fake the ball to Hampton, and you give it to the big guy, all 6'5", 225 of them. He's getting smarter, though. He knows when to go down.
He goes feet first. He's learning that. So Dave Brown scrambling around. That is the longest run from the line of scrimmage allowed by the Cardinals in this early season.
And a good call when you have an aggressive defensive team. Watch everybody coming here to stop Rodney Hampton. The quarterback's just going to come right down here. The wide receiver just runs his guy off, Aeneas Williams, and you got a chance of a play. I mean, misdirection against an aggressive defense is a good call.
This guy's 24 years old, played so very little. He had thrown 7 passes prior to starting a week ago. He was recruited by Steve Spurrier to go to Duke, so he's been around some very good offensive minds early in his career.
Yeah, the best, perhaps, was Phil Simms. Remember, Phil Simms tutored this guy for 2 years, and he said, what I learned most from Phil Simms was work ethic.
And he said he also learned to hit the weights. He said Simms lifted weights, I started lifting weights. First down from the 42. Make the end around, wide open. Sherrard and Aeneas Williams caught up with him, and here comes a penalty flag. The ball was hung up in the air, or Sherrard might have taken it for 6, and then Williams is going to be called for pass interference.
Yeah, the reason the ball was hanging up, Clyde Simmons was in his face. Now, this should have been a touchdown play, because Sherrard was wide open. But Clyde Simmons got into the face of Dave Brown. Dave Brown couldn't follow through, and that's what happened.
Pass interference, number 35, defense.
Well, I don't know. When I saw it live, I thought it was a heck of a play. What you're going to see, number 96, after the little play fake, get into Brown. See, he can't follow through. Otherwise, it should be a score. 35 is Williams. I'm sorry. I think that's a clean play. I think that's a great defensive play by Williams.
One other thing to mention, he is throwing into the wind, and the wind has started to pick up. That's a 35-yard penalty. Sets it up at the 23. They're within field goal range. Brown over the middle. Howard Cross, the intended receiver, and Terry Hogue defending on the play. Let's go back on that play that you feel Williams should not have been called for pass interference.
Well, remember, this is the strength, I think, of this Cardinal team. Talk about Seth Joyner and all those other guys. The corners, I think, are great cover guys. No contact there.
I agree.
That's a great defensive play.
Yes, it is.
That is a great defensive play.
That's being a contortionist trying to avoid contact and still get the hand in there. Second down, 10, 31 seconds left in the half. The Giants have 1 timeout left. Callaway comes in motion. Brown double pumping, looking for Callaway. It's a jump ball, incomplete. A Williams play that time, and he's saying, "Gonna call it this time on me?"
Yeah, call it the other way. He's saying, call it the other way. on Chris Callaway he's asking for. I mean, this guy, Aeneas Williams, is a heck of a corner. And he'll tackle you. He'll play in defense and knock the ball away. Callaway's the guy in motion. It'll be he against Aeneas Williams. It was a pump fake that Williams did not buy. His head was turned in the whole way. And those are two, I think, sensational defensive plays in a row by Aeneas Williams.
And the crowd agreeing with you. The Cardinals have 6 penalties for 104 yards, including 2 pass interference calls that went for 69 yards.
The thing about Aeneas Williams, he really uses his sideline as a defender. He gets great body position, and he wins most of the jump balls. Look at the body position. He's using the sideline. Jump ball is his. He's claiming he was interfered with. I don't think so. I think Callaway did a good job there of making sure or preventing the interception.
An angry crowd here at Sun Devil Stadium. Now the Giants just used their final timeout.
But Gary, if you have corners that can play like that, like Williams just did there, you can afford to blitz.
Yep. Well, what was it? Buddy Ryan says he's just a quarterback waiting to be discovered. He thinks he is one of the best in the league.
Now, Brown can't take the sack and take him out of field goal range, Gary. Okay, and no turnover, no sack.
And again, no timeouts left. Third down and 10. Brown getting rid of it. Sherrard broken up. Now there's another flag. Terry Hogue broke it up, but the interference would come from James Williams as he and Sherrard further up the field were bouncing against each other.
How many times we've seen so far this year, Gary, that underthrown deep pass that ends up in pass interference?
Well, this would be the 3rd pass interference call if it stands against Arizona.
I give the Giants some credit, though. They didn't pick on Aeneas Williams that time. They went after James Williams, the other corner.
Pass interference, number 21, defense.
Yeah.
First down to spot of the 5.
It'll be at the 1-yard line.
The underthrown deep pass. It's been used since Pittsburgh Steelers. Terry Bradshaw did it. Now it's a called play by a lot of teams. This one was not called, just underthrown. James Williams runs up on the heels of Mike Sherrard. The flags go down. The Giants have a great opportunity here before halftime.
First and goal at the 1. 20 seconds left. Brown, play action. Over the middle, touchdown. Howard Cross, his 2nd of the night.
Well, the Giants got a break on, I think, what was a bad call, but nonetheless, they did capitalize it. And we said being a quarterback and establishing yourself as a quarterback is a process. And Dave Brown is going through that process right now and going through it pretty well.
He had some zip on that one. And Cross has 2 catches tonight, and both of them have gone for touchdowns.
I mean, that's what you like down inside the 10, Gary. A big old tight end who makes himself a target. I mean, he's 6'5", 260 pounds, and he can make plays down there inside the 10.
We've been told, and you can see now, Brian Williams is down on a knee. The center, the guy who replaced Bart Oates, they shared that job a year ago, and after waiting in the wings, he has taken over that position for the Giants. So Cross with the touchdown grab from 1 yard. He started the ball game, you might recall, with a touchdown pass. And Cross, known for his blocking, has now become a very viable target for Dave Brown. And we have a 19-10 game in favor of the Giants. Point after attempt coming up. Arthur Marshall the hold. David Treadwell to kick it. And this one's on the way. And after having a little foul up on their first PAT, this one's there. This is not a happy crowd here, as those 2 pass interference calls keeping this drive going.
This is Howard Cross right here. He's just going to block for a while and then delay and sit down here in the back of the end zone. Hampton is really the primary receiver. Brown comes in. He was covered by a linebacker, and then he comes back to his second receiver, Howard Cross. Big target over the middle. But this is the maturation here of Dave Brown. Trying to get Hampton in the flat, take it away. Started with great protection down there. Great protection. Play action pass on first down. You usually get good protection. And Cross made himself real big underneath the goalpost.
Well, on that drive of 80 yards, 57 of them were penalty yards on 2 pass interference calls.
Now, one of them wasn't a pass interference, but nonetheless, the Giants get the touchdown.
So it looked like the Cardinals were trying to get themselves in field goal range and tie this first half, and all of a sudden now they find themselves by 10 points in the rears.
So again, they have a chance with this new rule kicking off at the 30, Gary, to make up some ground here and have a big kickoff return and still have a chance to potentially kick a field goal. They're kicking, into the wind here.
Yes, it is into the wind. Now, we were expecting a storm before the night is over. You look around, it's getting a little bit more ominous in the south of here, and that storm coming into the face now of this kickoff. Galuiso still got a good foot into it. McAfee buried just short of the 25-yard line. The Cardinals with 2 timeouts, and now with 9 seconds left in this half.
Well, the Cardinals can't feel particularly good, I think, going into the halftime. They started the game by throwing an interception. The Giants turned into a touchdown. That's the first thing. Then they get a bad break on what I didn't think was a pass interference call. The Giants score again. So 14 of those 20 points the Giants scored maybe shouldn't have happened if they played a little bit better.
Brett Alexander right now is down. He is the rookie free agent we were talking about earlier out of Tennessee State. They really like him. He played for Buddy's son, Rob, who was the defensive backfield coach at Tennessee State. He's had some shoulder problems, but they're not looking at the shoulder now. Russell Chick and Wayne Cool down there, Johnny Omohandro, who is the trainer, looking him over.
You really did your homework, Gary. You know all the trainers, all the doctors. I'm impressed.
You should be. So at the line of scrimmage is now the 24-yard line with 9 seconds. And we want to again point you towards the show that is going to be something special. It's great moments in the history of the NFL. The first spike. You know who did that?
No.
The original Hail Mary?
No,
I know
Doug
that
Flutie.
one. I know, no, Roger Staubach to Drew Pearson, I'll bet. The Immaculate Reception and many other stories.
I knew
about
that one.
Lombardi, Jim Brown, Bill Walsh, never told before. We've heard nothing but some very good things about this show. And Pat Haden, I think you're in there, on your first pass in the history of the NFL, your debut, you threw a touchdown pass. That's probably in there too.
Big deal, big deal. I made a lot of tackles too. And they have a few of those in there. Year 37 is my favorite of those 75, Gary. Hey, we're talking about the Giants. They have scored 20 points tonight with just 98 total yards.
Well, you turn the ball over.
Yep.
Makes a huge difference, obviously. And then the pass interference calls. Boy, it's starting to pick up. The wind really starting to pick up here at Sun Devil Stadium. Blowing, as you can see here, right into the face of the camera from the south to the north. They are excited here in the state of Arizona. They had a crowd of 61,000 in the preseason. They doubled their season tickets. They probably would have sold this one out tonight had they beaten the Rams in Anaheim last Sunday. And they expected to announce a crowd here tonight of 65,000.
Well, the Giants have only turned the ball over once tonight, too. Remember, we said at the beginning of the game they were hoping that for the Cardinals, for their defense, this was going to be a breakout game where they had those 4 or 5 turnovers and turned one of them into the score. Well, they're going to have to get it done in the second half. They only had 1 here in the first half.
9 seconds left in that first half. 4 wideouts. And instead, they try to cross him up the middle. And running the ball is Larry Centers, and he's still on his feet. Goes for almost 9 yards, and that will bring us to the end of this first half of play. The Fruit of the Loom halftime report coming up. Bob Neal, Kevin Kiley, and Lawrence Taylor. Taylor, for the first time, not in a Giants uniform since 1981. Dave Brown and the Giants with a 10-point lead at the halfway point.
Welcome to halftime at Sun Devil Stadium. A 10-point lead for the New York Giants. Well, Buddy Ball with its home debut here. Everybody wondering how Dave Brown would withstand the pressure of the Cardinal defense. They got to him once early, caused a turnover, led to a touchdown. But 3 pass interference penalties against the Cardinals, and the Giants are in front by a score of 20-10. Now, Ernie Johnson has all the scores and highlights from around the league today. And Ernie, last week I checked on whether or not there was more scoring. And as we went to you last week, it was something like 43.5 points a game. Today, exactly 500 points have been scored. That's like 41.6, which I guess means that defense has really stepped in week 2 of the NFL.
To me, it's all the new math, and you lost me 5 minutes ago, but thank you very much, Bob. Let's talk about San Francisco and Kansas City. Let's talk about Steve Young and Joe Montana. Eagerly awaited matchup, and it was worth the wait. Young, 288 yards and a touchdown. Montana, 203 and 2 touchdowns. The big difference, Steve Young and the Niners committed 4 turnovers. The Chiefs, with Joe Montana, no turnovers. He had some help from guys like Derek Thomas.
Young will throw. He's being rushed. He's headed the end zone. He's headed the end zone. It's a safety for Kansas City. Derek Thomas nails Steve Young in the end zone for 2 points.
That cut the Niner lead to 14-9. The Chiefs took the lead for good when Montana hit Keith Cash. They also had a 2-point conversion to make it 17-14, and the Chiefs on their way to a 24-17 win over George Seifert and the Niners. The Chiefs are 2-0. San Diego is also 2-0. Stan Humphries threw for 299 yards and 2 scores, 27-10 over 0-2 Cincinnati. Seattle is 2-0. Rick Myra with 3 touchdown passes. They beat the Raiders 38-9. Houston and Dallas. The Cowboys' Alvin Harper, a memo to himself. I'm a bad man, you can't stop me, and Darrell Lewis of Houston agrees. Burned by Alvin Harper, part of a 20-17 Cowboy win over the Oilers in the Battle of Texas. Miami got 2 touchdown passes from Dan Marino in a 24-14 win over the Green Bay Packers. Miami is 2-0. Minnesota held Barry Sanders to 16 yards on 12 carries. Minnesota 10-3 over the Lions. The Rams and the Falcons, Andre Rison of Atlanta, guaranteeing a victory, and he backed it up.
Second down, George back to pass. Looks, throws, there's Rison. He's got a touchdown in the left corner of the end zone. Andre Rison looking at the crowd going, there's a duck walk. The guarantee looks pretty good right now.
Indeed it does. Rison with 12 catches. George was 29 out of 38 for 287. Atlanta wins big over the Rams. Buffalo a 38-35 win over New England. Jim Kelly had 4 touchdown passes in the first half and passed Joe Ferguson on the all-time Buffalo list. Pittsburgh 17-10 over Cleveland. Vinny Testaverde threw 4 interceptions. Good news for Norv Turner, the first-year head coach of the Washington Redskins. His guys got drubbed by Seattle at RFK last week. Today they went to the Superdome and hammered the New Orleans Saints. That's John Freeze to Desmond Howard. Freeze had 4 touchdown passes. Turner gets doused. Doesn't even look like he feels it. He's numb. He's a winner. 38-24, the Redskins over the Saints. The Jets in overtime have gone to 2-0. They beat Denver 25-22 for the first time since '68. The Broncos start the year 0-2. And it's Tampa Bay over Indianapolis 24-10. Craig Erickson with 3 touchdown passes. And here on TNT, they are at the break, and wouldn't you like to be a fly on the wall of that Arizona locker room? 20-10 Giants.
New York leading Arizona at halftime 20-10, and here is tonight's Writers' Game summary. And if you looked at this, Pat Haden, you would think that possibly the Cardinals would be leading in this football game.
It's amazing. We talked about the Giants scoring 28 points with only 98 yards. But the penalty yards has really been the significant factor, I think, this game. But this kind of goes the way that the Cardinals' first game was against the Rams.
Last week, they dominated in everything but the scoreboard. You can see the final score. But look at the time of possession and the total yards. It was a frustrating game. Points over turnovers, off of turnovers, 14 by the Rams. And it was not a happy Buddy Ryan at the end of this first half. He didn't like that pass interference call, and he let Jerry Markbright and his crew know about it as they retreated in. And Buddy still looking for his first win as the new coach of the Arizona Cardinals. As we said, he came out, the first thing out of his mouth when he came here is he says, "You have hired a winner." He has predicted a winning season.
He said, hey, you know, my assistant coach is going to win 6 games, and I'm going to be responsible for 3 games. And The offense is going to win a half a game, and, you know, it hasn't worked out too well for them.
See that in the background? That does not look good. Basically, we could have some real weather coming out of the south, the southeast that was forecast early, and starting to whip around, and it's going to continue to affect this game.
Well, I'll tell you, if there's some wind and some bad weather, you have to pick the Giants, because the Giants play in some windy weather in New York, particularly in December.
It's cooled off, hasn't it?
It's down to about 92. It's beautiful, Gary.
98 degrees at the start of the game, as Greg Davis will kick off the second half, as we have going back deep Thomas Lewis, Dave Meggett for the Giants. Lewis coming up and brings it across the 25 to the 30, and will be tackled there. So from the 30-yard line is where Dave Brown will go. Now, Brown in the first half was 6 of 9, 52 yards and 2 touchdowns. You know what you like about what Dan Reeves is doing with this guy? Just kind of keeping him under control, not expecting him to do too much.
You don't have to win the football game. I mean, you only threw 9 passes. See the 2 touchdowns. Got sacked once, did turn it over on the 1 sack. But remember, that they're not asking him to win this football game by himself. They want Rodney Hampton and the offensive line really to do it.
Starting from the 29, the Giants, as they lead it by 10. Brown, and that was batted away by Seth Joyner. Seth Joyner was not very happy with his play last year, even though he graded out at 93%. He said, I'm going to quit coaching the rookies. I'm going to go into the film room, leave me alone. I'm going to get my game ready, come back and make a big play here tonight.
Yeah, well, that was a play what he's upset about. Yeah, he knocked it away, but he thought he should have picked that one off and scored. Remember, this defense is supposed to score at least once a game.
Second down, 10. Rashid, the second-year back out of Oklahoma, is stopped. He lost maybe a half yard on the play. Well, Buddy Ryan says you win games with defense, and I'm sure some of that was articulated at halftime. He'd like to get the defense to stop this drive right now.
You know, I didn't see too many snaps of this vaunted 46 defense in the first half. I mean, everybody talks about the 46 so much, Gary, but they only play it about 30% of the time. Now, even when they're not in the 46, they're going to be aggressive. They're going to come after you. But we did not see a lot of it in the first half.
When you see it, it's when they cover the center and both guards. They have not done that on this snap. Third down now. Virtually 10. Brown, far side. Rashid is wide open. He's got a first down and then more as he moves it out to the 45-yard line. Now, here's a guy not used that much offensively, but he caught a 16-yard pass, and Rashid has improved his game. A free agent a year ago out of Oklahoma.
Okay, watch these 2 wide receivers. They're going to go deep here. Rashid just goes right in the flat. And a thing about this Phoenix defense, you're going to have some receivers running wide open. It's a matter of whether you have time to find them. That time he did.
Wide open before Williams finally made the stop. First down at the 45. 3 catches in the game for Rashid. Rodney Hampton. Seth Joyner makes the tackle as he's able to make it out to the 47-yard line. A gain of 2.
Seth Joyner, number 59 for the Cardinals. This is a guy who is an every down linebacker. I mean, he doesn't come down out on third downs, and he makes runs. You know, he fights through tight ends, fights through blocks. He causes fumbles. You know, he intercepts the ball. I mean, this guy, there's a lot of one-dimensional players around the league, but he is multi-dimensional.
He doesn't come off of the football field defensively. They use him in every phase. Second down and 8. Hampton knocked backwards. Big collision in the middle of that defensive line, and that was Bankston again. Bankston has been a standout in this football game.
Yeah, you know, they say about Bankston, here's a guy 280 pounds, and they call him instinctive. Now, you don't find too many 280-pounders, 300 pounds that are instinctive, but Michael Bankston has a feel for the game of football. I mean, he coaches guys in the defensive line. He helps Eric Swan, the guy next to him. But tonight, he has really stuffed the run.
That's the 4th tackle of the night for Bankston. Third down and 9. They're going to blow this play dead. Both sides looked like they were firing off. We'll have to sort this out. And now William Roberts and Wilbert Marshall doing a little chicken fighting out there. Roberts, the big dog, as they call him, the veteran offensive lineman. Of course, Wilbur Marshall coming over after playing last year for Buddy in Houston.
No, the Giants have had a very good game plan tonight. I mean, they've run the ball with Rodney Hampton. When they've thrown the ball, they've either thrown it quickly, Gary, or they've had maximum protection. They're keeping tight ends in, they're keeping backs in, and they're taking those deep shots.
Illegal procedure, false start against the Giants.
5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So it'll be a 3rd down and 5 yards back for the Giants as you look at those clouds and the weather starting to form here at Sun Devil Stadium. Cardinals next week play Cleveland in Cleveland. Giants return home to host the Washington Redskins.
This is a big blitz down for the Cardinals. The longer the yardage, unconventional as it sounds, they come after you more. They'll blitz you on 3rd and 14 rather than play off in a zone.
Brown setting up, stepping up. He's in trouble. Down he goes. Bankston is there. Michael Bankston has been the best football player on the field for this Arizona team.
But Dave Brown, in the tradition of Giant quarterbacks, hung on to the football. I mean, Phil Simms and Hostetler and those guys, ever since Bill Parcells was there, you protect the quarterback. The last time he was sacked, he turned it over. That was the 2nd sack, but he held on to the ball.
Horan will come in and punt the football, kicking into the wind from the 22. Brian Reeves is back this time, the rookie, trying to gauge it, and he's hit instantaneously. Willie Beeman, who caused a fumble last week on a punt against Philadelphia, got down there quickly. We have a penalty now. It's going to go against New York. That was a 40-yard punt, a -1 return.
And Willie Beeman, number 21 right there, is a good special teams player, particularly on punt coverage. I mean, speaking of that, boy, the Chiefs had some good punt coverage today. I don't know if you saw that.
Number 20, offense. Prior to the kick, 10-yard penalty, 4th down.
That's Keith Elias, the rookie free agent out of Princeton.
Going to see him right here, Reeves. Whoops. I tell you, good coverage. I mean, that time he makes the tackle. The time before, Beeman was down guarding the end zone so the ball wouldn't get kicked in the end zone. I mean, the Giants have always seemed to have at least one very special teams player, and Beeman is it right now for these Giants.
So Horan's got to do it again. He became the Giants punter last year in the 8th game after punting for Dan Reeves in Denver. This one's not well hit. Wobbly kick, and it goes out of bounds, and the Cardinals were wise to accept the penalty as the ball is going to come out to the 44-yard line. Much better field position for Arizona. So the Cardinals will get it for the first time in the 2nd half after a 30-yard punt, trailing by 10 points. Giants by 10. The Cardinals with the football for the 2nd time.
Put him
for
in the
the
back of
first
your
time
car.
in the 2nd half.
Put him right in the back of your car, that little kid.
From the 44, Beuerlein will start this drive. Derek Ware in motion. Ron Moore has come back into the game after suffering the concussion in the first half and loses 3 yards on the play. That was a good reaction by Eric Howard. Carlton Bailey was also in on the stop.
This is an important series, I think, for this Cardinal offense, Gary. You know, their defense did their job, got them very good field position, and now they have to do something. As Dave Atkins, the offensive coordinator, now it's their turn to make something happen. In the first half, they ran a couple of screen plays with a lot of success. They have not had a chance to run it yet here in the 2nd half, but this is a good down for a screen.
They mark it for a 1-yard loss. The Cardinals might want to get something going now with the wind to their back and the weather worsening here by the moment. Beuerlein and intended for Derek Ware. Pretty good coverage that time by Jesse Campbell. And And so as we have 10:19 to go in this third quarter, the Cardinals now come to a 3rd down and 11. Early in this ball game, they trailed 6-0, cut it to 6-3, enjoyed a lead at one time of 10-6, falling behind at the end of the first half 20-10. Buddy Ryan and Buddy Ball making their home debut and looking for their first win. The Giants trying to go 2 games up in the win column. On a 3rd and 11, Mike Fox coming up the middle, broken up that time, Jesse Armstead. Armstead, their special teams deluxe player, got a hand up, and the crowd not happy with the play of Beuerlein. He now has just hit 2 of his last 8 pass attempts.
Yeah, regardless of that, that's a heck of a play by Jesse Armstead. I mean, a great special teams player, he's number 98 in blue on the right of the screen, number 98, and then he plays nickel middle linebacker, and he just has a feel for pass coverage.
Punt by Fiegel. Pretty good pressure put on. Dave Makett is back. Circles under it. Got it at the 10s. Got a little wall. And then he's knocked out of bounds. They'll bring it out to the 18-yard line. That was Kevin Knox, who they just signed and moved up from the practice squad, who started the year with the Buffalo Bills. Number 18, who rammed him out of bounds. 46-yard punt, 6-yard return. The Giants still lead it by 10.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Arizona Cardinals and the National Football League is prohibited.
We come back, and it looks like when the Cardinals get the football the next time, we're going to have a change at quarterback. Jim McMahon warming up. Right now, the Giants have it at the 17. Rodney Hampton out to the 20-yard line. Jim McMahon has been slowed the entire preseason with a bad ankle, has not played that much. Wilbur Marshall made the stop on that play.
Okay, remember the last time you saw McMahon in the regular season with Minnesota in a playoff game against the Giants, was knocked out of the game twice by the Giants, only to come back. I mean, he is just a tough player. He's a tough quarterback, too.
10 of 22 tonight for Beuerlein, 108 yards, 1 interception, but he connected only on 2 of his last 8 passes. 2nd and 7. Hampton runs by a blitz and then moves it up to the 29. There is a penalty flag.
Tell you what, Gary, we have not. Hampton looks like he's hurt.
He's been so durable, you expect him to get up. And right now, very slowly rolling around on the field. The penalties against New York.
Until Dave Brown becomes a seasoned professional, they can't afford to lose Rodney Hampton.
Offense, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
But Dave Makett's going to come in, and Hampton very slowly, ever so slowly, will go off.
When you think about Dave Makett, I don't care about, you see Rodney Hampton about the Cardinals has not run well against them. I don't care about Dave Makett's size. Dave Makett is a football player. He makes plays.
Penalty makes it now 2nd and 17. Brown rolling to the near side, and he got rid of it. Is it going to be a grounding call? No, just incomplete. Very good pressure that time. Michael Bankston again causing havoc.
Tell you, Michael Bankston's having a heck of a game. You know, you think about Clyde Simmons and Seth Joyner and Eric Hill, Eric Swan, but Michael Bankston's been a force tonight. Now, Dave Brown did a smart thing here. He knows he's out of the pocket. He knows he can get rid of it without the pass interference call. And that's what happened right there. But Michael Bankston, number 63, has just played great tonight.
3rd down, 17 from the 10.
Big down for the Cardinal defense.
Wide open. The catch is made. Mike Sherrard cleared, and he finds those open spots so well. 20 21-yard catch, his first catch of the night, and it's for a first down.
You're a young quarterback trying to establish yourself. How do you do that? You make the right decisions at critical times in a game, and then you deliver the ball on the money. And that's what Dave Brown did. I mean, I heard Lawrence Taylor say at halftime he thought Dave Brown was playing pretty well, and I agree, because that was a critical down, and he made the read and the throw.
Remember that was 3rd and 17, and they got it. Dave Meggett playing now for Hampton, tries to find some place to go. Lorenzo Lynch comes up from the strong safety spot, slams him down for a yard loss on the play.
So if the Cardinals are going to come back as they work on Rodney Hampton, the Cardinals are going to come back and win this football game, Gary, regardless of whether they change quarterbacks, their defense is going to have to do it. Their defense is going to have to cause another turnover.
Jim McMahon with Dave Atkins. He wants to get in there and get a chance offensively. Keith Elias now, the rookie free agent from Princeton, in the backfield. He is number 20. Second and 11, a delayed handoff to Elias, and Elias carries it out to the 35. This guy, they say, has a mentality of a linebacker. He plays so hard. Coming out of Princeton, he had 9 teams that wanted to sign him as a free agent. The Eagles called him first, but he wanted to go to the Giants, and Dan Reeves is glad to have him.
Yeah, a year ago he was playing against the likes of Brown and Dartmouth, and now he's playing in the NFL, and I think he's the kind of guy who can play well on special teams, be a spot player, and is a guy who does not make mistakes.
3rd and 6. The blitz is coming. Brown to Callaway, Chris Callaway, and he makes the catch, and here comes a flag. Callaway trying to get to the first down marker. He needed to make it to the 41. Aeneas Williams was hanging on to him.
One of the few snaps of 46 defense, Gary, I've seen tonight by the Cardinals.
Pass interference, number 80, offense.
From the Giants.
Wow.
And Callaway.
That's a big play, because it was a good audible by Brown as he read the 46 blitz, dumped the play off. You can tell as a 46, anytime these 3 guys are covered by defenders right here, you're in this 46 defense. He audibles right out here on the one-on-one coverage, but they call pass interference on Chris Callaway. They call him pushing off. I'm not so sure about that one either. It's on Williams, 35. Boy, I tell you, that may be a gift back. Williams got called on one earlier, and he gets a break there.
Well, the penalties are going the other way right now. That's 4 against New York this half. The Cardinals have not committed one. Brown buried. Bankston again. Bankston there first, and we've called number 63's number so many times. As the whole pocket collapsed on top of the rookie, or I should say the 3rd-year man, Dave Brown, and the loss back to the 16-yard line.
Another snap of 46, 2 in a row, and once they start blitzing, they're going to start blitzing again. You see right off the corner, some pressure up inside. 2 snaps in a row of the 46 defense. Joyner beats his man Cross. Some pressure up inside again by Michael Bankston.
Bankston has just been unblockable in the second half. Here's a punt by Haran. Ryan Reeves is going to let it hit. Not a good punt. Again, kicking into the wind. It bounces back for the Cardinals inside the Giant 40. That ends up being a 22-yard punt, and the Giants into this win, losing field advantage. And Jim McMahon will come back when we return. 20-10, we have a new quarterback. Jim McMahon comes in to run the team, and the crowd responded when number 9 came on the field. After a 22-yard punt, play action fake, going to throw on his first snap, completes it to Ronald Moore, and Moore fights for a yard inside the 35-yard line. Carlton Bailey made the stop. Boy, the weather is really changing, and to kind of get a feel for it, let's go to the sideline and Kevin Kiley.
Gary, it's not just the flags at the top of the stadium. The wind on the floor of this stadium is very unpredictable and gusting to about 30 or 40 miles an hour. Remember, the Giants will turn around and take the wind in the fourth quarter. I don't know that Jim McMahon, with his arm strength at this point, can throw against the wind. If he's going to do it, he might have to do it now.
You know, Gary, Kevin's absolutely right. So if you're going to throw, you got to throw it, I think, every down here and get your touchdown on the board right now. 5 minutes remaining here in the third quarter with the wind at their backs.
2nd and 5 after the completion of Moore. Center's in motion, a mishandle snap from center, and the Giants get it back. Carlton Bailey comes up with it. Now that can happen, Pat, as you all know. When you change a quarterback, the change from the center sometimes just doesn't get done.
I don't know. To me, there's no excuse for a fumble snap. It happened some down by the goal line, and it happened right there to Jim McMahon. The guys have been taking snaps since they were junior high school.
Ed Cunningham, the center.
It's one thing to fumble the ball, but then there's so much blockage around McMahon, he has no chance to even try to make a play. Carlton Bailey is there, and it's been the Giant defense with enforcing turnovers. There's a shot of Jim McMahon and Ed Cunningham, the center, number 79, talking about that last fumble snap. McMahon saying, hey, I hung in there pretty good. The ball just didn't come up all the way, and they're just going to work that thing out.
Second turnover tonight, and for this early season, 5 turnovers committed by the Cardinals have led to 20 points.
Giants would love 2 or 3 first downs, Gary, and use up the rest of the third quarter, have the wind at their backs in the fourth.
Elias in the backfield, along with Megan. Here comes Megan. Megan across the 40 to the 43. This gives us an opportunity now to give you tonight's Silver Bullet scoreboard as we look at the action around the NFL. The Bills, after scoring only 3 points last week, came back. Jim Kelly with a big day. 4 touchdown passes. Buccaneers winning their first game. The Jets in overtime on a Lowry field goal from 39 yards. Chargers are 2-0. Natron Means with a big day. Testaverde had a long afternoon as Cleveland lost. 2nd down and 2. Make it again, and Meggett's got the first down across the 45 to the 46-yard line.
So Dave Meggett's 5'7", 195 pounds, but he is a tough guy. He's a tough guy too, Rodney Hampton. But Dave Meggett, I mean, this is the guy who is the personal protector for the punter. He plays all the special teams. He returns kicks and punts for touchdowns. He'll block you. I mean, this is one tough running back, and a heck of a good running back.
First down at the 46. Aaron Pierce is now in the H-back spot. Brown trying to bootleg and makes the first man miss, but then Lynch got him. Well, we have another injury for the Giants, and with an update, here's Kevin Kiley.
Thank you, Gary. Keith Elias, the rookie who was just in, number 20, has a mild ankle sprain. He's out there working feverishly on Hampton, trying to get him back in there. But for now, it's going to be Dave Meggett. Interesting note, Bill Parcells, the former Giant coach, didn't like little backs, didn't like to use Meggett in the backfield. Obviously, Dan Reeves feels differently. Back up to you.
2nd and 9. Thank you, Kevin. And he could use Gary Downs. He could play halfback and fullback if it comes to that. Meggett again. And Meggett maybe a yard, giving the most to Eric Hill, made the tackle.
Remember, we were talking to George Henshaw, the offensive coordinator for the Giants this week, Gary, about Dave Meggett. And he said, hey, the one thing about Dave Meggett is he only has X number of plays for the entire 16-game schedule. And you can't overwork him. You have to pick your spot for him because he'll wear down as the season goes on. Here's George Henshaw.
3rd down now. 8 yards to go. 2:22 left in the third. A 10-point lead for the Giants. Brown, and he's going to be sacked back at the 40-yard line. That's the 4th sack of the night, and 63 was there again. They cannot keep Michael Bankston from getting into the backfield and causing all kinds of problems.
Okay, big adjustment by the Cardinals. They are running a lot more 46 defense, and that was another snap of it. Bankston right up the middle, one-on-one on the center. That's what the 46 does. It gives defensive linemen kind of one-on-one situations with offensive linemen.
Moran to punt. Lightning now starting to appear in the background. We've been told there's golf ball size hail west of here, so this weather could really deteriorate. And again, playing havoc with a punt. Moran's average is going to be really anemic, as this one will be marked at the 32-yard line. And you talk about having a wind blowing in your face all day. That's happened to Haran. That's a 26-yard punt. Giants with a 20-10 lead. The Cardinals with the wind to their back. We're going to take an opportunity right now to say hello to two members of our NFL on TNT crew. They couldn't be with us this week, and we all on this crew would like to pass our thoughts to Lori Brooks and John Epstein. I hope to have them back soon. Line of scrimmage now, the 33-yard line. You said it very well, Pat. If you were the Cardinals now, you'd come out throwing.
Throw it every down. A minute 43 remaining in the third quarter, and really there's probably gusts of 30, 40 mile an hour right now. It's at their backs. They got to throw now.
Jim McMahon with his third snap since coming into the ball game. Got time, throwing far sideline. And Philippi Sparks has another interception. He started the ball game with one. He went high. Now there is a flag. There's a flag where the ball came in the vicinity of the 40-yard line. Sparks went high to come up with that one. And let's get this one sorted out. This guy, growing up in Phoenix, just recently built a home for his mother, handed her the keys this year. One of the goals of his life. Jerry Markbright was in there like a wrestler, trying to get all those guys sorted out.
It's kind of like looking for croutons in a salad. You know, you got to spread guys out, looking for those croutons.
Get a life, will you? What are you talking about? Croutons in a salad.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of bodies over there. Jerry was kind of working through the salad there to get to the croutons.
So let's see what this penalty's all about. Well, that was quite an athletic move by Sparks.
The ball was intercepted. It belongs to the Giants. We have a 5-yard face mask foul against Arizona. First down, New York Giants.
Hey, Gary, we have seen some pretty good corner play tonight by the Cardinals and by the Giants. Sparks with the 2 interceptions, replacing Mark Collins, goes back to the left corner where he likes playing. McMahon just trying to give his receiver a chance. You're down by 10 points. You have the wind at your back. That's not a bad throw. Give your receiver a chance in the NFL. But Sparks was just too good. A strong interception.
Center's the intended receiver. Sparks had 1 career interception prior to tonight. He's picked up a pair here. Megan is picked up and slammed down. Wilbur Marshall. In this second half, the Cardinal defense has been solid. They just can't get that offense going.
You know, I think there's 122 remaining. I think the Cardinals may want to think about using a timeout to force a punt into the wind, Gary. I mean, you may want to think about using a timeout. Marshall standing up on the end, number 55, comes in unblocked early. Too much penetration. Aaron Pierce was trying to pick him up, but he was already 6 yards deep in the backfield.
Marshall was hurt all of last year. Virtually played on one leg with the Oilers. 2nd and 14. Complete to Meggett. Meggett's got a block for the 40 and eludes the tackler and gets further up the field. He'll be knocked out at the 43-yard line, and it'll stop the clock with 47 seconds.
Yeah, stop the clock. I mean, that's just the thing. Meggett should have stayed in bounds there. Again, remember, you're fighting for the win now in the fourth quarter.
So they still have almost 10 yards to go for the first down. Haran, this quarter into the win, has punted the ball 30 yards, 22 yards, and 27. He's saying, guys, somehow end this quarter.
It is really gusting right now.
3rd and 11.
Defense again.
Aaron Pierce is in motion. Brown, he's in trouble. Had no chance. Coming off the corner was Seth Joyner, and he straightened him up and slammed him down.
Okay, what Buddy Ryan likes about his 46 defense, that's the 4th snap again of this 46. They've been successful every time. Here you're going to see right there, Joyner off the corner. They're looking not just for mismatches, but for guys who come cleanly. I mean, Seth Joyner wasn't even blocked. Dave Brown was looking for that little shovel pass, but he did a good job there, Gary. He didn't force it. Punt the football, play defense. Heck of a job, though, by Joyner.
24 seconds.
Mark Bright trying
24.
to reset the clock back to 24. They've got it to 34 right now.
24, please. Not 34. Bring it down
a little more here. 24. By the way, Joyner and Bankston now have split the 5 sacks. They each have 2.5.
Giants should run the ball here and try to run this 3rd quarter out.
What happened was there was a delay of game. That was no play a moment ago. And now Dave Brown asked for help from Jerry Markbright. You can see they've lined up in the 46.
25. Thank you.
25 seconds. Now again, folks, the wind is really blowing. The Giants should run the ball, and the Cardinals should call a timeout immediately after the stop, if they can, or do one now. Yeah, they're just going to let it run out.
Yeah, they are. They're going to lose all of this advantage. And they should really call a timeout. I couldn't agree with you more. And I mentioned Dan Reeves is saying, come on, get these seconds off real quickly because we don't want to kick into the wind.
Boy,
I don't know. It looks like a missed opportunity.
That adds about 20 yards to their next punt.
So the Cardinals, with all 3 of their timeouts left, don't want to burn one. We go to the 4th quarter. The Giants still by 10. Giants by 10, and now a big factor. They have the wind to their back the remaining 15 minutes of this 4th quarter.
Yeah, the wind at your back, and again, it's a 30-mile-an-hour wind. You have a 10-point lead. Those are significant advantages, and if they are forced to punt here, I think it's going to add another 10, 15, 20 yards.
We mentioned again, Mike Horan has really struggled in the second half. 30, 22, and 27-yard punts. 3rd down, 16 as we start the 4th quarter. In motion and blitzing up the middle and just pounding through was Eric Swan. Oh! And they say when they start coming after you, it's like a storm. They just build up momentum, and right now the Cardinals defense is causing a lot of problems for the Giants, and Horan now to punt the football.
Well, I tell you, the Cardinals have to think about a punt block here, too.
Here they come. They got it. The block is by Aeneas Williams, and the Cardinals will have the football inside the 20-yard line. It has not been a good night for Mike Horan.
Yeah, but it has been a good night for Aeneas Williams. He got robbed on a pass interference call, but he's played great on defense, and he's played great on special teams. I mean, if your offense is struggling, if your defense is struggling, special teams have to do it. And Aeneas Williams, a starter at corner tonight, makes perhaps the play of the game.
One of the things that the Cardinals are concerned about, though, they've carried James Williams off the field, the other cornerback. They had to carry him off quickly. 2 teammates, and there he is. We'll get the status on him soon. 1st down now at the 17. Larry centers the single running back. McMahon, the quarterback, gives the centers straightened up, and there's a flag as he got a couple of yards to the 15. Holding against Arizona.
Again, Gary, we said it in the 1st quarter. This Giant defense plays great red zone defense inside the 20, and in particularly inside the 10.
9th penalty for 141 yards.
Number 71 offense. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
That's Mark Tucker, who's trying to fill the shoes of Lance Smith, who's now a starting guard for the Giants. Tucker got his first start last year. This guy was on the Gladiator show. You remember him? He was Rebel.
Yeah, Rebel. I've never seen the show, but I'll take your word for it, Gary. Okay, this is a good down for a screen. The Cardinals in the first half had some success with a screen. They have not run one here in the second half.
1st and 20. Look at these last 2 possessions. Derek Ware comes in motion. McMahon being flushed out, stays on his feet, and somehow gets a couple of yards to the 25-yard line. Showing a pretty little nifty open field ability that time as Carlton Bailey eventually made the tackle.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, this defense comes at you like a rock slide. I mean, they just keep pounding and pushing and shoving. Hamilton's number 75, Dillard number 71, and there's no blitzers there. That is just 4 very strong defensive linemen.
Very disciplined defense, as you could see there. 2nd and 19. McMahon to Ronald Moore. He runs out of the tackle from Stacy Dillard, stays on his feet, but for all that, only picked up about a yard.
It's 3rd down now, and even if they don't get the first down, I think with this win, we got another penalty. Oh man, boy.
Holding number 65 offense. 10-yard penalty.
That's the other guard, Ernest Dye.
Boy.
10 penalties now, 151 yards.
Now if you don't have playmakers on both sides of the ball like the Dallas Cowboys do, you can't afford to have 10 penalties and win a football game, Gary, and turn the ball over like the Cardinals have tonight.
2nd down now and 29 yards. They're backing up. They need to get to the 7-yard line for a 1st and goal.
They have to be thinking a field goal right now. They're down by 10. Get in position to kick a field goal.
Centers comes in motion. McMahon over the middle. Ware. What a catch by Derek Ware. Oh, and now the ball comes loose, but they say it's down. It will be a catch. 1st and goal at the 2 for the Cardinals.
Well, Jim McMahon wasn't thinking about a field goal. He's thinking about getting it all. And I tell you, Jim McMahon, who's had 15 fourth-quarter comebacks of his own, drills the ball in there to Derek Ware. That is a great throw. Every Giant knew this ball was going to be thrown deep. Their catch. He may have been stripped there, Gary. It's Jesse Campbell, number 37 for the Giants. Catch, both feet down. I think that may have been a strip by Campbell. It should have been Giants ball.
Instead, 1st and goal just inside the 3-yard line. Moore breaks the initial tackle, then falls forward for maybe a yard gain. That was Mike Fox, 93, who made the penetration. It'll bring up a 2nd and goal. 11:27 left in the game. The Giants with a 20-10 lead. That was our score at halftime.
They needed a break. They got it on the block punt by Williams. Have a look at the catch. Where's the tight end? He's got the ball there. Yeah, his knees down. His knees down before the ball was stripped. So that was the proper call.
2nd and goal from the 2. Play action. McMahon throwing far side. Ronald Moore, touchdown, Arizona. Jim McMahon coming in relief, as only Jim McMahon can, has gotten the Cardinals closer. They trail now 20-16. We have 10:52 left to go. Mike Fox right now is down for the Giants. The guy they call Man Mountain, and it looks like he'll be all right. How many times have you seen Jim McMahon come off of the bench and just jump start a football
one Monday night game? He was unbelievable. Remember, 15 fourth-quarter comebacks. I mean, here's a guy that has always believed that he can do it. And when your quarterback believes that, oftentimes the guys around you believe it, Gary.
That was a 4-play, 17-yard drive, again into that wind, taking 3 minutes and 27 seconds. There's what you were talking about, Pat, just a moment ago. Point after attempt by Greg Davis. And all of a sudden, we have a 3-point game.
To heck with the wind. You throw the ball deep to the tight end. You come back with a play action. Even under a rush, you dump the ball out to Ron Moore. He dances in, and we have a ball game.
The Cardinals have cut it to 3. This is going to be an interesting kickoff because Greg Davis kicking into this gale, and you might be able to hear it on our microphones as it's really starting to swirl and blow. Interesting to see if he just tries to kick it along the ground, because he gets it in the air, it's going to come back at him.
Well, this may think they only go down to the 20-yard line.
He got it up pretty well. That's a very good kick under the circumstances. Lewis comes out with it to the 20 and tripped up. Good reaction by Randy Kirk. And Kirk kept him from turning up the field where he could have done some real damage. Let's go back to the touchdown to Ron Moore.
Watch first a couple. Terry Samuels occupies both of these guys. Then you see Larry Centers, who just gets a hand on the on-rusher. And here's Moore, who dances into the end zone. 89 takes those two defenders. Centers, 37, just gets in the way of the on-rushing linebacker, and that allowed McMahon to dump the ball to Moore.
Okay, this Arizona defense has really started to come on in the second half. They've allowed just 3 yards on the Giants' last 6 rushes, and they've sacked Brown 3 times. Starting to rain a little bit here at Sun Devil Stadium. Haden bouncing around, no place to go.
Okay, this is where you'd love to have Rodney Hampton, Gary. Rodney Hampton in the 4th quarter, as he wears people down, can wear any defense down, but Rodney Hampton's on the sideline. Dave Brown can't hear the play.
That's at helmet radio. He's trying to pick it up. So as a backup now, it looks like he's looking at the wig-wag system. They're signaling him in. In this game, Meggett has carried the ball 7 times for 1 yard. Second and 10, Meggett again. And he slides out to the 24. It'll bring up a 3rd down, and still a good 6 yards to go.
Well, Dave Brown in his 2nd start has a critical down right now, Gary. I mean, he played well last week from ahead, with a lead. He still has a 3-point lead here right now, but this is a big down, and his teammates know it's a big down. And you develop and you evolve as a quarterback if you make the critical throws in the critical situations.
The Giants this half are 0 for 5 on 3rd down.
46 defense. They've been awfully good this half of the defense.
Brown, flare pass to Meggett. He's got the 1st down and knocked out of bounds. A brilliant call as Brown backing up, getting the rush up the middle, dumped it outside, and he picks up 13 yards on the play, so they convert their first 3rd down of the second half.
The perfect call against this 46 defense with everybody coming, the on-rushing lineman, and the ball just popped over his head. It's like a little screen play. Just gets it around the linebacker, and then you have the 1st down. Good call in that kind of situation against their 46.
And the Giants now have it 1st down at their own 38. Brown on the delay to Meggett. Meggett hunting for some place to go. Got a yard. That was Seth Joyner reaching in and tripping him up. They talk about Seth Joyner. They have to chase him out of the tape room, the film room. He stays all night, studies everything. He is a complete football player. And now Keith Elias has come into the football game. Remember, he was out for a while with an ankle problem.
Yeah, they need some power runners right now. Meggett, I think, is tired. Remember, he plays all the special teams.
Meggett asked to come out of the ball game. He is exhausted. 2nd and 9. Handoff to Elias. Nothing there. as Eric Swan, who in the second half now has started to make his presence felt, comes up with that stop, and the Giants have come to another third down.
Yeah, 7:45 remaining in the ball game, and the Cardinals are beginning to feel, Gary, like they have a shot at winning this ball game. It started with a special teams play, a block punt by Aeneas Williams, followed by a touchdown throw from McMahon to Moore, and now a big third down for the Giants.
Last 10 rushes for the Giants have netted 7 yards. 3rd and 10. Brown. The pocket collapsing. He completed it anyway to Chris Callaway. He's running free for a first down. I tell you, I don't know how the ball got out of there. Brown had everyone collapsing in his face, still got it out for the first down, a 13-yard pickup.
See, in the first half, he didn't see much of the 46. Every play in this second half, he's seen more of the 46 and people coming after him. If he can get a little bit of time, you get a chance to throw the ball out, you're going to have guys open against one-on-one coverage. He did there. But the center has to make the line calls. Brian Williams pointing at people, directing traffic. It started with the calls of Williams.
First down at the Cardinal 49. Meggett is back in the ball game. A little flea flicker. Back to Brown. Wide open down the field. Intercepted by Lorenzo Lynch. Intended for Sherrard. And Lorenzo Lynch brings it out to the 34. And the Cardinals have possession. So after making a remarkable throw on a third down, they come back with a little flea flicker, and it blows up in their face.
Let's go back to the Giant flea flicker. He's going to hand the ball off to Meggett, then back to Brown. And it just took a little bit long to develop because Wilbur Marshall, number 55, forced Brown to move around. The ball got thrown late. It was picked off.
Lynch with the interception sets the Cardinals up at their own 34. Ronald Moore in the backfield. 3 wideouts. Cardinals down by 3. Blitz coming. And coming through was Michael Brooks. Brooks, who we've said before is the emotional leader, their best football player on defense, and he made a huge play. A loss back to the 21-yard line. 13-yard loss.
Here's Michael Brooks right here. Now that's going to be a play action fake, and the back can't get over to block him. He tries to. Moore tries to get over on Brooks, but it's too late.
So the loss back almost to the 20-yard line. Cardinals headed into the win. They have all 3 timeouts remaining, trailing by 3. 5:49 left in the game. Second and 23. McMahon in trouble. And this time it's Keith Hamilton. Also, Mike Strahan was in there as the Giants now, their defense really stepping up.
You know, I don't think McMahon can see. There's not a lot of passing lanes. Hamilton's number 75. He'll come to the right. Come from the right, but there's just not a lot of passing lanes there. McMahon's not going to beat you scrambling, so there's a lot of guys just pushing their offensive lineman right back into his face, and he has nowhere to go.
3rd and 27. They're going backwards. That was the second sack of the game for Keith Hamilton.
Well, if they don't convert, the Giants are going to get good field position, Gary.
Man from the gun. Randall Hill out to the 25. He's going to be way short of the first down, but he gets some position to punt it out of there, as the line of scrimmage will be the 26-yard line.
Okay, we're going to set up this punt and Dave Meggett's return, because this will be a punt into a very, very stiff wind. We talked about it. Fiegels will be punting. And Dave Meggett, they said, hey, you can't try to knock him out. If you're going to tackle him, just tackle him by the jersey. Bring him down that way. Don't try to knock him out and make him fumble.
Fiegels, who went to high school here in the Phoenix area, will take a high snap. Meggett's going to let it hit inside the 30-yard line, and the Cardinals covered it very, very well. Ends up being a 6-yard return, and give Fiegels some credit. That was a 46-yard punt under dire circumstances. The Giants still lead it by 3. Dave Brown talked about facing this Buddy Ball 46 defense. He talked about the punishment he would take.
The physical challenge for me is just going to be enduring the punishment. They're always going to bring an extra guy that we can't pick up. I realize that. And I think the key for me is to take my steps and get rid of the ball as quickly as I can, and to go through my reads, you know, as quickly as I can, but staying with guys. Don't be rattled by what they're going to do to me.
So Brown now has his football team lined up with the 34, protecting the 3-point lead. He has all 3 timeouts remaining. Meggett is in. Dave Meggett looks like he's been rejuvenated after coming out exhausted earlier in the ball game. Able to skip across the 40 to the 41. Eric Hill made the stop there.
The thing about Dave Meggett, he is a decisive player, whether it's a punt return or a run like this. Pierce is the lead blocker, number 84, threw a good block on Lorenzo Lynch. But he makes up his mind quickly, and he forces you to make up your mind.
Gain of 7, 2nd and 3. Both teams have all 3 of their timeouts left. Galloway in motion. Meggett again against the grain. Skips across the 50 to the 45. Terry Hogue made the stop. Got to give a lot of credit to this guy. He is tough. Be sure and join us next Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, the NFL on TNT. We'll go to the Georgia Dome. Joe Montana against the Atlanta Falcons, and June Jones has retooled that Atlanta team. They are scoring a bunch of points, winning a football game that I don't know, a lot of people thought they would win this week. They have really started to put the pieces together.
2 quarterbacks who don't throw many interceptions in that game, Jeff George and Joe Montana.
20 to 17 now. First down at the 44. Chris Callaway in motion. Meggett again, his 3rd straight carry, and Meggett has taken over this football game right now. He's got it inside the 40-yard line.
You know, when the Giants were awfully good and won those Super Bowls, this was a time of the game where their offensive linemen really seemed to begin to dominate. Now, it's hard to dominate this 46 defense because there's so many bodies, so many people blitzing, but you just sense this offensive line is coming together right now.
The Cardinals use their first timeout. Meggett on this drive, 3 carries, 26 yards. The Giants still leading by 3. The Cardinals used a timeout. They have 2 left. Dave Brown and the Giants have all 3 of theirs. They have the ball now at the Arizona 40-yard line. 3 minutes, 8 seconds left in the game. 20 to 17. It was 20 to 10 at half. And Jim McMahon coming in and putting a touchdown on the board, and now Brown trying to somehow put this one away. Callaway in motion, handoff to Meggett. Meggett his 4th carry on the drive. He's hammered down this time. Got a yard, and that's all. Eric Swan along with Lorenzo Lynch.
I'll tell you right now, it's, you know, the Cardinals are playing 8, 9 men close to the line of scrimmage, just assuming the Giants are going to run the football. They have the last 2 downs.
Kenyon Rashid comes into the ball game, replacing Aaron Pierce. 3rd down, still 4.
Yeah, with 2:40 remaining in this football game, this is the down. The Cardinals have to make it happen.
Play action fake by Brown, rolling out. He's going to run. He got the first down to the 25. Again, at 6'5", he's pretty nifty when he gets out on that bootleg. This time a 13-yard scamper. Big first down for the Giants.
You know, they're going to let the clock run down to 2 minutes. Buddy Ryan's going to call his timeout, but I want to tell you, George Henshaw has called that on 3rd and long twice. Yeah, he was. Buddy Ryan, he signaled for it at 2:06.
But he didn't get it. We have a 2-minute warning instead. So the Cardinals will have 2 timeouts remaining and running out of time. 2 minutes to go from the Valley of the Sun as we have the 26-yard line. Buddy Ryan somehow trying to get something happening defensively. Needs a turnover. His team down by 3 with 2 timeouts left in the game.
The game's not over yet unless the Giants can get a first down.
Gerard, Callaway split out. Brown to make it driving forward to the 20-yard line. He's 4 yards short of the first down.
I want to tell you, the coaches said Dave Meggett only has a certain number of plays for the whole year. Well, he's used a lot of them tonight, Gary.
He went out of the game and came back with new energy as the Cardinals use their second timeout.
Arizona. 40 seconds.
7:30 with the stadium show.
Say that,
Chiefs and Falcons.
The Chiefs' defense today won that football game, I think. Joe
Derek
Montana
Thomas
was good, and Derek Thomas, Neil Smith, and a bunch of those guys on defense played sensationally. As you look at the Giants here, they go ahead and win this game. Who would have thought, Gary, that here in week 2, they could be 2-0, winning 2 NFC East games without Phil Simms and without Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would have bet against that, including myself.
Well, they want to go 3-0 before the bye, and the players really want to do that because if they do, they get 3 days off on that bye week.
So they have 3 straight NFC East opponents.
Washington at home next week.
Yeah, steal a win here, and Dan Reeves said, hey, in the NFC East, you have to steal a couple wins on the road. He's about to do it here.
Second and 4. Meggett's got the first down, and that may have done it, as now the Cardinals may use their final timeout.
And that will do it. How about this?
He stopped just short of the 15.
How about this drive? Dave Meggett, 6 carries for 38 yards on this drive. I mean, he played like Rodney Hampton. He ate up the clock. I mean, he's different than Rodney Hampton in that he disappears a lot. You can't find him. If you're a linebacker, you don't know where he is. He darts, he dances, the feet are always moving, and he's always moving the chains.
So now the Cardinals still have a timeout left. They can stop it one time as they take the snap, and that'll stop it with 1:01. Or are they going to use it? Now they do, with 58 seconds. So Buddy Ryan, who had predicted that they would have a winning year, that they would make the playoffs, will find himself down now 0-2. And Buddy Ryan did not expect to start this season 0-2. They really had a major letdown, losing last week in Anaheim against the Rams. They play at Cleveland next week, and that will be very difficult. The Browns losing today to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Buddy Ryan, by the way, will be on our post-game show with Kevin Kiley, Bob Neal, and LT Lawrence Taylor. Disappointed crowd here. The debut of Buddy Ball was not a success.
Yeah, this crowd's ready to have baseball back.
I tell you, the crowd's getting out of here because as I look at the weather, you want to get out of here right now. It continues to lightning in the background. They're going to have a lot of moisture coming into Sun Devil Stadium here very soon. 56 seconds. The Cardinals cannot stop the clock again. And Dave Brown goes to a knee. And Dave Brown now, 2 career starts. He's won them both. And winning his first start on the road here tonight. And Dave Brown is our Cadillac player of the game. 11 of 17, 119 yards and 2 touchdowns. And how many times, as you see the rushing yardage, on 3rd down did he roll out and get the first down?
Well, at least twice in critical situations. There were a lot of Giants that played well. Felipe Sparks with 2 interceptions. Dave Meggett here. The offensive line when they really needed it.
Up front, the defensive line. Keith Hamilton. Remember the sacks that he was able to come up with. So the Giants come in here and win, as they're able to win one on the road within the division. And that is huge for Dan Reeves. And he comes over, and look at the hug he gives Dave Meggett. So it's been a tough place for Giants teams to win. They were 3-3 against the Cardinals since they moved here in 1988.
Gary, Dave Meggett just gets it done. I mean, it's a game for people of all sizes, and he did it tonight.
So the Giants are 2-0, the Cardinals 0-2, and we'll be back with some final thoughts from Sun Devil Stadium, where the Giants win it 20-17.